Thanks for being patient and waiting. It's been a while since we've been on, but welcome back to Dead of Ages Past. I have moved to a different location, can't see too much in the background, and hopefully once it gets dark enough, you won't be able to see anything besides my face. Then, what happened last session, very quickly, we'll go over that. The group dealt with a trial that never happened, an assassination or a termination rather, inside of the Magier's Tower, a secreting away of a person of importance, and a series of long discussions about one another. Another execution some distance away at the Wellenbart house, and more unification of the group. At current, Brox'gar, Jimmy Blades, also known as to one other party member as 87, and Yenlorin, and Saer, and Gilbert Kirgozler are now residing at Saer's home. Saer's husband and their children have moved away for the time being, and when they broke away from each other for the night, the only person who left the group was Renn Keeneyes, who's returned to his office. Yeah, that's where we left off. Nothing interesting of note or import happens in the nighttime. Nothing really at all. So with that being said, morning comes and I leave the table to you guys. We'll start with the odd man out and move to the larger group. So Renn, morning rises. You hear the cling of the bell at the front door. You know that you've been kind of moving around in the early morning anyways. But you know this is Effie. She's just returning to her post. She kind of walks in, kind of gives you a nod. It looks like a bit of the soot and dirt and grease from yesterday's work on her, tinkered devices is still present. But she did do, a bit to wash her face. But she kind of walks past you and she says, "Did you get the note from that strange lady?"
Renn is sort of packing up and putting on his overcoat, and you see him putting a piece of paper into his pocket and stuffing it in. He nods to her and he leaves. He walks out the door.
Before you even make it too far away from the building, you can hear the loud sound of sparks and banging. You assume that she's continuing work. You would know the thing that she mainly works on back there in the back. The others have seen it, but really didn't focus on it too much because it was under tarpaulin. But she is working on an auto carriage. All right, and you head where?
I'm heading towards Saer's house.
Okay. At Saer's house, Brox'gar is snoring pretty loudly. So those of you who are on the first floor, which I presume isn't too many of you since the upstairs has been opened up to the others. I know for certain, Saer, you're not bothered by it because you're in your own bedroom, but
Yep.
you others may have some issue with the snoring dwarf. Blades, you were out and about in the evening time, right?
Basically posted up across the street.
Yeah. You kind of found very quickly there was a small vendor who was kind of serving food and whatnot, and it didn't seem too strange to kind of stand near and about him. He kind of gave you some wary looks, but nothing too much bothered by that. Again, because of the structure of the buildings, a rooftop wasn't available to you. You see the sun coming up, piercing over the tops of the high buildings of the city of Brox'gar, and lighting up the streets in kind of a bright, shadowy light. What would you like to do?
Oh, what kind of things is the vendor selling for food?
Sausages, mainly sausages. A common food that's served in Brox'gar is known as a trough, and basically it's just a large thick, hard piece of bread that's kind of gutted off the top, and a sausage and lots of like beans and stewed meats are kind of put in on top of it. Basically like a chili dog, but not as chili dog.
How many do you think I could feasibly carry across the street?
Make a intelligence acrobatics check.
Okay. Acrobatics. I am not trained, so I can just roll straight intelligence.
Okay.
Oh, he drops them.
You think you could probably do maybe 8 or 9? No problem.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's what, like 6 people over there?
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
I buy 4.
Okay. You have no problem carrying 4, and you head on over to the door. That'll cost you 3 silver. If you want to just mark that off, and you walk on over to the door. It's not too hard to kind of bang it with your elbow. I mean, you kind of got one in the hand, and then you got one on the forearm, and you kind of keep it close to the chest on both sides. So you just kind of elbow against the door, and it's loud enough to knock. Gilbert, I presume you're downstairs, tucking away some sort of device or what have you, and you kind of hear the knock at the door.
I guess I look around and there's nobody else down here, right? Just me and the dwarf?
Brox'gar is sleeping, on a cot there, and I presume Yenlorin kind of is sleeping upstairs.
Most likely.
Alright, I would go to the door and say, "Who's there?"
Wicky, it's time for troughs and bacon.
And then I'd go, okay, I'd unlock the door. I'm assuming it was locked at night or something. But
For sure.
If I'd open it up.
Does he know how to lock or unlock the door?
I'm assuming it's mechanical, but is it not a mechanical lock? Like,
It's not my house.
You'd probably be able to open it up. It's just that there'd probably be more than one lock, just in case.
Your main initial concern is the high lock, and you kind of have an annoying look at it, and the knock kind of budges again, and you hear more speech from Blaze on the other side. But there's a stool not too far away. You grab it, you put it over, you climb up the spokes of it, get up to the top, unlock all of the locks, and then kind of move away with the stool as you open up the door.
I'm like, tall people. Darn it. And then I would open the door and say, come on in.
I got some trough for all of you.
Yeah, thank you. Unfortunately, our dwarf's still asleep, but and so are you coming in then? Coming in the room?
Yeah, more for me was some of the experts.
Shut the door behind him and lock it again. It's low locker, meaning high lock. Then I have to take him and set him down on a table somewhere. And then you get up. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yenlorin, you kind of, wake up from the cot that you're at. It's not too far away from the dining room area up on the top floor. And you start smelling some pretty good smelling food. What would you like to do?
I imagine I'm gonna just get myself ready and get ready for breakfast. I'm hoping that it was Blades who went out and got food for everyone, just because he's my little bitch boy now, and I expect him to do things for me, and I overnight became an entitled little princess, so...
I can't wait to see this.
Wait, you became an entitled little princess. Did someone throw the peach crown on you? Is that what happened?
Absolutely.
Is there going to be a meme
Exactly
about it
what
now?
happened.
All right.
Overnight, I just grew a peach crown
Nice.
out of my head. It's like the cucumber from SpongeBob. It's actually part of my head now.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, you head downstairs and see that Blades has a couple of troughs out on the table, which is a pretty common street food in Brox'gar. You kind of look them over, though. Do you think there would be any kind of like vegetable, root, or otherwise that you'd be kind of partial to? Maybe onions or something like that? I don't know. Because they're not on them, is what I'm trying to say.
So I'm not gonna be mean about it, but when he comes downstairs, Yenlorin will just like stroke his little goatee as he inspects Blade's work. Yes, this is acceptable brunch for today. However, Mr. Blades, come. And he like waits until you get closer, so it's just you who can hear him, and he says, "I prefer my troughs with little garlic on them. Next time, little garlic."
Right there.
You are-
I'll see if they got it for you.
This I need. I will not bring it up again, but this is I need.
As he walks away, or kind of like turns a bit to you, he's still carrying the long sword, Judgment. But as he kind of moves away, or that weapon gets close to you, Yen, you have your staff, or did you leave it upstairs?
I always have that thing on me.
The
If it's not strapped to my back, it's in my hand.
The stone glows, just for a moment, and then as he moves away from it, it seems to fade away. We have a silence. You guys should operate.
I forgot what it means when the stone glows. I can't find my notes.
It's okay, it happens to everybody.
I think we have different stones, right? I have a stone that points toward the city, but I think yours is different.
No, I was talking about his Esper Edge. He has a staff that he walks around with that has a giant purple crystal, and that's what I'm talking about. Anywho, Renn, you're not too far behind. I would presume that Saer has probably proceeded down the steps by this point.
Actually, I have an idea of what Saer's been doing.
Yeah,
so.
give it to me.
So anyway, what I imagine is Saer got up decently early, just because of, a little bit of anxiety, and spent a good few hours just writing these decent-sized letters to each of her children, just in case.
Do the contents of the letter kind of go into detail, or are they just pretty vague and I love you kind of things?
There's not a huge amount of detail. There is some minor detail as to what's going on without giving the full story, and sort of a separate letter to her husband explaining when she thinks it would be okay to actually tell the children what happened.
Gotcha. Okay. And then
she's
anything?
been doing that for a few hours, and then probably I'd say about 20 minutes or so after everyone else has made their way down, she would probably make her way down.
Okay. Then you actually will not be down there when Renn arrives. So
that's fine.
Renn, you arrive at the door of Saer's shop. What would you like to do?
Oh, and he knocks on the door.
You didn't lock the top locks, Gilbert, so it shouldn't be too hard to get this one open.
Yes. Alright, does anybody else move toward the door, like
No.
Yenlorin
Hold
or
on.
Blades or...
Hold on. So everybody else in the room, you kind of look over to Gilbert, and he's kind of just looking at you like a noble would look at peasantry. And
you want me to answer your friggin' door when everybody's down here? I don't say that, but that's what I'm thinking.
the only sound that's kind of breaching the silence, of this cold stare from Gilbert to you guys, is the sound of Brock still snoring over on the cot.
It's up to you, Gilbert.
Jimmy Blades has his dagger out, sort of picking at his nails.
So I'm gonna look at everybody and be like...
You hear the door knock again.
I'm like, do you think, and I'd walk over to the door, and I'd be like, hello?
Yeah, before you get there too, Renn, you would notice that the there are a series of locks on here that are quite strong, but for some reason someone's left them all unlocked except for the very easy bolt and lock inside the doorknob itself. You're pretty sure, like, if you wanted to, you could probably crack it open in a second, but you go over to the door and unlock it, Gilbert?
No, I guess I say hello.
Renn is gonna knock again.
And then I'm gonna look back at everybody else, like, and be like, should I let whoever this is, who's not identifying themselves, should I let him in?
Well, if he keep knocking on door, I never enjoy Dwarf. Send him in. Tired of hearing knock.
Is there some kind of peephole you can look through?
Not my sized.
I'll be right over.
And
Is there a window near the door?
They're pretty dirty, but yeah, you can see into the, you can see
Renn would
the
use
wares.
his cloak and rub the window and try to look in and see what's going on.
Okay.
So you might see a elf face.
while he's doing that, Jimmy Blades is looking through the peephole and seeing nothing.
Yeah.
There's no one there.
So, Renn, you can see Brock sleeping, and you're pretty sure someone is at the door now, probably looking out.
Okay, Renn goes to the door and knocks one more time.
It's that red fella from the other day. I'll let him in.
And I unlock the bottom lock and let him in.
Okay.
As Renn opens the door, you see him finishing up what looks like a chili dog, and he walks in.
Alright.
He says, greetings, I'm glad to see you're all here. It was smart to stay together after what happened last night.
Then why did you leave?
Well, I had my... well, I was safe. I knew I'd be safe. And I had business to attend to this morning. He says with an air of confidence.
Okay.
As he comes in, Blade shuts the door and does all the locks.
Has anything happened since last night?
Well, we had lovely breakfast. As you can see, is still on table.
Mm-hmm.
I believe my associate would be happy to go get you breakfast as well if you've not eaten this morning.
I just actually stopped by that vendor on the way, thanks.
Fantastic.
So we're all good. I was wondering if Saer had been down.
I have not seen her this morning.
You overhear your name being spoken as you're heading to the steps, Matt.
Alright, that's fair.
Do you continue down or do you listen in?
I
The
continue
grand
down.
entrance.
Listening in is... Why would I listen in?
Okay. You come
My
down.
house.
You come down the steps. She comes down the steps. Like you summoned her just by speaking over.
Speak of the devil.
I would just...
Just glare. You were saving that one, Tim. I was hoping that we can continue working together, says Renn. I wanted to know if you had any plans.
I thought that was the plan.
Well, more specifically.
More specifically than necessarily what.
So there was a murder last night?
Which is good. Only one. Big city.
And it seems as if, Saer, you're involved in this in some way?
I would not say that I am involved, but there are people involved who are knowing me.
Well, we're all here. Maybe we can help you with this if you'd like us to.
Well, I thought that was part of plan.
That's right. So what next?
I think the elf saying a little more information might be appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Blaze. Yes, exactly.
What do you know of man who was murdered? Let's start there. We'll start easy with little thing. who is man that murdered?
Who was the man that was murdered? Do I actually...
Sydney Wellenbart, right?
That was
So,
my...
no, real
that's-
quick. Did Gilbert tell anybody about Wellenbart?
Yeah, I did when I
Yeah.
got back.
So then-
After I'd seen it. Yeah, I
There were-
basically spilled the beans.
2 murders yesterday. Wellenbart was one, and technically, based on the operative who murdered them, it wasn't really a murder so much as it was a public execution that was basically played out on the streets. That would be the presumption for any conglomerate loyalists or any law enforcement officials. They have right to do that. They don't typically exact it, but it seems that they are now.
And
That-
then you said last time, John, that Tybalt told Renn that Razis was not actually killed, and the new Majir was Kirgozler the Gnome.
Correct. They appear to be searching for the Majir that died, and the person who now sits on basically holds the position of Majir for the city, which is basically magical magistrate for the city. That person's name is Kirgozler. You aren't sure that they were a gnome. I don't think that was mentioned.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
but
I guess
isn't
I just assumed
Kirgozler a family name, right?
it's
Kirgozler
not
is a
Gilbert's
family
name, isn't
So
it?
it's not it's the name of the gnome noble family that Gilbert is a part of. We don't know the actual individual's name,
Correct.
like his given name, but we know he's part of the same noble family that Gilbert is a part of.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily know if he's a gnome or not, but he's
Oh,
part of
okay.
that family.
But a quick
So you could be part of a family and not be the same race? Is that
a quick
Marry
note.
into it.
A quick note that's important here. Gnomes are typically from either one of 2 provinces. They're either originating from Cardis, which is a province that's kind of to the northwest of Parnak, on the opposite side of the Vitali Mountains. And that place is kind of a harsh, very elementally charged place. The only creatures that really reside there are the gnomes, which are elementally attuned. And kind of find their own pockets within that place. And the Trosdotians, which are actually Goliaths, but the term Trosdotian and the term Giantkin are kind of interchangeable. It depends on what what heritage the Goliaths come from. Just a note for now, placeholder really. And then the other province that they come from is Jernaris. Yenlorin, now that you think about it, you're pretty certain that Gilbert's family must stem from the western province of Jernaris based on his surname. The name Kirgozler is Old Jernarin and also Gnomish. It's a fusion of the 2 languages.
Got it. And I would share that with group. That I think it's a old gnomish name from Jernaris specifically.
Well, isn't that a fun fact for the next quiz game we play?
And actually, I wanted to interject here that I do believe that this is from a branch of my family that split a long time ago. So I believe that it's from a different location. Basically it's from, because, that's what I have heard. So it's not it's basically a distant relative of mine as opposed to somebody who was close who I might actually know. So, take that for what it's worth.
Would you be able to introduce yourself? Do you have in with same last name? Does that hold weight amongst even distant relative? I do not have family self, so I do not know.
I do not think so, and I don't even want to try. Matter of fact, it might mark me,
Draw unwanted attention. This
yeah,
little one. He think in future. I like the little one.
I'll tell you what I'm worried about is that somebody had killed Sydney Wellenbart, and they may have wanted to kill me too. And so I'm thinking now I need to at least put on a disguise, change my appearance. So what I plan to do is shave this little beard of mine and
I would look
Shave
at
my hair.
Say,
Yeah.
You know the Adams family?
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
I want a listener to do that.
Real quick, if anybody's been keeping up with Critical Role, okay, I feel Matt Mercer's pain, okay, because right now there's an NPC whose last name is Costco, and they are just writing it. So you guys continue with Adam's Family
It's
stuff.
Costco with a K though, not C-O-S-T.
It's Cosko,
Yeah.
I think.
With,
To be fair,
sorry, with a
John,
K.
I bet you
feel
that
like they
family's
gave him
still
a harder
cheaper than
time
the
over
majority of the other
Irvine.
families out there. That
Hold on, what was that, Matt?
I said I think that they gave him a harder time over Pervon.
Oh, also
Pervon
yes.
Meadow Bear.
Yeah, they actually said that was, yeah, that they did. I didn't watch the first. Anyways, off of them.
Anyways,
Back to
that's
me.
a good thing. if you have a character, we all snap at the same time. That's a good thing, you know. That's a
Yeah. There's a knock at the door.
yeah.
And Saer is actually able to see through the hole in the dirt that was wiped out by Renn earlier. You do see a person pass by the window and move towards the front door. As that person passes by, they have kind of a darkish brown hair. They look familiar, but you're not sure from where. You don't think they look familiar, like they just look familiar.
So who sees this only just...
Just Saer.
Just Saer?
There's a knock on the door.
I just would like put my hand out, just be like,
I start moving to a back room.
I just
when
I walk
Matt
over-
does, or when he
Hold on.
does that motion. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I would whisper to him, so you won't me kill him.
Matt, go ahead and say what you were going to finish too. Sorry about that.
yeah, I would wave just from like a hold that thought thing to Yenlorin, and then I'm just sort of going towards the door and going to look through the like peephole-ish thing that we have in the door.
Okay. You recognize this individual from the Conglomerate Tower. He looks like the person who you saw when you were exiting, the gentleman that kind of, you're not certain, but was kind of the one who was pulling people around. You're sure that you saw him leading Valette, or sorry, 87 to the back room, and was the one that imprisoned 87 last you saw.
Okay, I'd wave over probably Renn just to get him to look through the peephole.
Okay. Do I recognize that person?
It looks like the guy who passed you the note.
That passed me which note?
Did you not get, was it you that got the note that led you to the Mazier?
Yeah, you got that note that was
Yes,
the one that had the
that's
stone,
right.
right, or that thing.
Yes. The guy bumped into you and put a thing in your pocket. That's the guy.
So I'm just trying to understand this. So it sounds like he works for the conglomerate. I'm just having trouble with the factions.
Oh, I'm not going to explain too much. I just
Oh,
want
I
to
know.
inform your opinion.
That's okay.
He is waiting outside, though.
So he was the one that was trying to basically imprison 87 rather than free 87. All right.
You're not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. So Renn would sort of remain standing while the door is open, I guess.
You're opening the door?
Who's open?
No.
I didn't.
Who was
I
by
didn't
the
say
door?
whether I was opening the door or not. I was just
Oh,
waving
okay.
him over to get his opinion as to whether.
To stress the point, there's another knock on the door, and then you hear a whisper against the door and says, "I've got a message for you. Better if I talk off the street."
Renn would give a look as if let him in. Let's see what happens.
Is there anywhere I can hide in the back room or on the side or
So
in the closet?
there's up the steps to the apartments above, or there's through the back door into the shop. You're basically staying in like a open like front room that has displays and stuff. So you can go into the back shop if you'd like.
I'd like to go in the back shop then.
Okay.
Hide
Yeah,
under
that's-
Brox's beard.
That's where I would have went as well.
Brox is still sleeping right out there on the.
Just leave
the
Brox,
floor.
or you want to drag him out?
I'm staying.
He's fine. I take out my sword and open the door.
Okay. He kind of raises his hands up, looking at you. It's okay. I'm not. You don't need that.
I will decide whether I need it or not. Get in.
Okay. He steps in and kind of moves the door closed behind him once he gets in. He gives you a look like. Did you find him? He kind of looks over at Renn and then kind of looks at you.
I just sort of look over at Renn. Like, I don't know what this guy's talking about.
And I don't recall the contents of the note, John. I'm sorry.
He was the one who directed you to the Mazier, but you never made it to him. You ran into Yenlorin and Valette. He told you to go to the specific place with the stone. There was a message in a stone, and the stone led you to them. They know that the Mazier was where you were directed to. You do not know that because you didn't go underground.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I don't. I didn't find whoever.
Did you follow the stone all the way to the sewer access and go in?
No, I was interrupted
By what?
by this group. There was a more pressing problem.
There was a more pressing problem. He kind of looks at you guys like, okay, yeah, sure, great. Did anybody here meet with him? Where's 87?
Do you mean man who is inside of sewer?
Yes.
I have conversation with man inside sewer, of course. Me, man inside sewer, best friends.
So, are you gonna get him out?
Just stare at him.
Are you gonna get him out of the city?
Oh, he make it out of city in his own time, in his own way. He not need my help.
No,
My help come in other ways.
He does. He can't cast any spells while in the city. You've got to help him out. I've got a message for you. It's from one of the idealists. It's basically a correspondence that was to be delivered to, what's his name? Isidore. So, they have a railroad way out. They have an underground passageway out. Apparently, portions of the old Marcheshvan city still exist, and there are passageways that lead out of the city. But they're really close to the rivers, and they might not be the safest of places. If he can't use any spells, he's pretty much defenseless. He'll need assistance. He kind of looks at you guys like confused. I thought you understood what I was trying to do for you. I got you out. I got 87 out, even though he's gone now.
What is this strange tiny man talking about, and who is 87?
Agent 87? The man with the porcelain mask? The one who dressed up like... He looks over at Blaze real quick and he goes... narrows his eyes a bit.
Well, I thought Blaze was in the back of the...
Blaze is in the back room
never
listening
mind.
in.
Sorry, never mind. So it's just you, Renn, and Saer.
Yep.
Sleeping Brox.
And Sleeping Brox.
Oh, dance for me, puppets, dance.
Someone... no, Yenlorin, you interjected. You were here. You're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So he says, I got you out. I got 87 out, even though he's not here right now. So that sentence still works. Yeah. You've got to help him out if you can.
I can try, but he is very, very headstrong man. Does not want help.
Yeah, probably not. But if you can do it, that would be great. If you can't, then the only thing I can suggest for you right now is keep yourselves low. Lay low as you can. The lower the better. Because from what I understand, there's a witch hunter out in the city, and they've been dealing with some problems. It's rumored that the witch hunter is this Kirgozler's direct servant.
And by witch hunter, you mean
Bacon?
just
Baiken Masami is the name of the individual. I didn't even know she was conglomerate, but apparently she is a witch hunter. At least she's officiating as one. I don't know of her, but her reputation is something I've heard about in tavern stories.
Well, I appreciate this warning. I do.
If you have any business that you're going to do and operate on that keeps you out of the eye of everyone, really, anything to keep you busy, I'd suggest doing it, because if you stay here for very long, it wasn't very hard for me to find out where you all were. I don't think it'll be very hard for her to do it.
This is very true. You speak words that make sense.
He kind of nods his head and says, well, I'm going to go. Do you have any questions for me or anything that you need from me before I go?
Have you others working alongside you inside Conglomerate still
I'm not,
ideal?
I can't even go back in there.
So you out too?
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that what
What is your
was.
plan for exiting city?
I'm not planning on exiting the city. I'm going to try and act as calm and collected as possible, and hopefully I can restart my job once this all blows over.
Interesting. Is weak stance to take, but is stance to take.
I'm not an enforcer. I wasn't trained to fight. I know limited amounts of magic. I don't think the spell that allows me to comprehend ancient languages is going to assist me in defending anything.
But there is always time to learn, young one. Always time.
How can
to
we
learn.
contact you if we need to?
My name's Connor Bates, and I live just outside of Spellmoth, in the borough north of here. You should be able to find my house. It's pretty run down and high up on one of the tower buildings, the apartment towers there in the Mage Arrow, which is, you would know, Renn, is a section of the city. If you look at the map, you see where Spellmoth kind of like forms kind of like a cornered edge just north of the Mage's Tower. There's like a small little triangle there that kind of points into the green section. That's a part of the blue section.
Yes.
It's known as the Mage's Arrow.
Okay.
It's not in Spellmoth. It's in.
Is that the 3rd precinct?
Yeah, I think so. My brain.
Okay.
Jimmy Blade steps out with his spear in hand, or javelin, and just like not in a threatening way. It's just he had it ready to go if needed. It says,
So if we're supposed to be contacting these idealists you speak of, who would we be meeting with, or what would their name be, so to speak, if we go on this path?
So you're going to either contact the Magier and help them out. The idealist that I contacted and spoke to, he walks over to Renn and hands him a small piece of parchment, and then the information he needs on that paper. And he kind of turns and walks towards the door. Anything else?
No, if we are needing you, we will contact you, Master Bates.
You know where I'm at.
Oh, nice.
You know where I'm at. And he walks out the door. Then he opens the door and walks back in and he says, hey, you just made a pun against my name. That's not cool. And then shuts the door and then slowly opens it, closes it, and walks away.
How long were you sitting on that one, Matt?
Yeah, for a while.
Did you think about it at the beginning, or when he said his last name was Bates, you're like, I'm just gonna sit silently through the whole goddamn scene, wait until he's about to walk out the door, and say, thank you, Master Bates.
Yep.
That's, I saw you fucking got the cat in your lap, you leaned back, you just fucking took your time and waited. You knew it was coming, you thought of it the moment he said the last name, you're like, I have this all prepared. Wait for it.
Wait.
Anything else?
And-
Oh yes, one thing. Let me throw my punchline out.
An interesting choice of words. You knew it was coming.
Ah.
Of course.
Anyway.
We all know how it always ends.
Yeah, victory. So that said, you drop an insanely great pun. And then, what would you guys like to do?
So Renn says, well, Connor said that we should try to keep ourselves busy as we lay low, and it just so happens that I might have the perfect thing. And he pulls out a piece of paper from his jacket. I was given this note by someone who's experiencing strange things in her basement, strange noises, and she believes that they might be not normal. And she's asking that we help her. I think there might be some money in it as well.
When was her last bell movement?
I haven't had a chance to discuss it with her yet. I could let you have that conversation.
I shall.
Okay.
And so he says that it's Lady Elizabeth Karloff, and he has an address. She's a noble woman in Old Rastegar Borough.
Would you like investigate sewers?
You say sewers?
Yes, sewers.
I think we should start with her basement.
Okay then.
I sidle over to Yenny.
Okay.
We talk later.
Tim?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just sidling over him, like, positionally.
Oh, okay. So Renn would look to the others, especially to Gilbert and to Saer, and say, would you be willing to help me with this? We would be equal partners in this endeavor.
Well, I think that would be. I could do that, but I have something I need to do first. I want to lay low, and I think I'm very easy to spot. So what I'm gonna do is shave my hair on my face, right? So that'll help a little bit. It'll make me look younger at least. And then I'm going to, hopefully somebody in this.
My good
building
friend,
has lots of-
my good friend here. His name
Yes.
is Mr. Blades. He should be known as Mr. Makeup Man.
All right.
Very
Makeup
good.
Man.
I'm
Very
really
good
good
at
with
changing the
voices.
faces.
What I need to do is, I'm thinking I need to make it so I don't look like a blue gnome anymore. Like maybe if I could look like maybe a white gnome, so maybe I could put on. Some
Yes,
white
draws
makeup.
less attention than Black Gnome.
Yeah, you're right.
Pulled over less.
That's
yes,
just
it
terrible.
does, and they can get taxis.
That's
more
bad
often.
jokes.
So and then if we have any white gloves, or any type of gloves actually, it could be any color, but that way. Like, nobody would immediately see me and say, oh, that's a blue gnome. They'd see me and say, oh, that's a white gnome, or
Well,
that's somebody different.
Just a quick note: all blue gnomes aren't blue. Like there are like fair-skinned ones. There are. I mean, basically it just means that you're affiliated closely to like the ice portion, the cold
Yeah, but this
portion
blue gnome is
of
blue.
Terra Elemental.
Dabu dee dabu da.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, just like take away
I just
some
wa-
of the immediate.
I just want to make sure any misconceptions on like gnome
Oh.
coloration are currently
Yeah.
like dealt with.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't want to. Anyways,
Right.
so I'm gonna go a little incognito there. I mean, a little bit in disguise.
Oh,
I just thought, like Gilbert, they were all just very talkative. Like
Yeah.
And you just wouldn't understand our culture, so don't even try. All right.
what? What color is Gilbert's hair?
Gilbert's hair is purplish, dark, kind of purple blue.
Got it.
So, anyways, guys, that's what I'm thinking. And I also would like to make a stop by the bank. And also, I'm thinking maybe you might start referring to me by another name. That might be helpful too.
Tim, go ahead and make me a intelligence disguise kit check, please.
Okay. I wish I was
Can I
smarter.
give him advantage if I help?
That's up to Tim if he wants any assistance.
We have a makeover montage.
Yeah, dude, I feel like the two of us just tag team him and like do the thing.
It's like Queer Eyes.
Just
Awesome.
fucking, exactly. You know what I'm doing?
Right. The music has to play in the background. The
Thank
upbeat music.
you.
I got it.
Okay, yeah, cool.
And there's got to be like a heart-to-heart involved.
Of
Yeah,
course.
change my wardrobe.
Well, that's when we bring you in. Like,
Okay.
we'll have Renn do the culture part. It'll be
So-
fine. It's a team effort.
Tim, what'd you get?
I got a 24.
Okay. So with Yenlorin's assistance, the two of you kind of, start working at it. The main thing you notice is that no matter what palette you try to use, face, makeup-wise, you're pretty sure that like the chilled nature of his skin and just the tone of his skin is probably going to show through, unless you kind of deepen that color or use kind of like a tan color. He's not going to be pale. He's going to be very
Yes.
tan or very dark-skinned.
Red gnome.
The hair situation, because it's so dark, the only route to go for you is
Black.
straight black.
Yes.
Or a wig, if you want to try and use like some sort
Shave
of
it.
prosthetic.
You can shave it.
No.
Oh, this could be so good.
My bald
Be
head is not
careful.
beautiful.
Besides that,
Gilbert's going to wig out.
he said he already shaved his
Yeah.
beard. I didn't hear him
Yeah.
say he shaved his mustache, so that's still present. If you want to play with that,
Oh,
or
yeah.
get rid of
Fucking
it.
play up the pedo stash. Let's just shave the top of his head and give him a bald spot and, like, recede the hair and thin it out. Leave just the thick mustache. We'll give him, like, age lines.
Oh,
It'll be
no, you
great.
guys-
Really thick, bushy eyebrows.
Wait, I don't want you to make me totally ugly. I just want you to make me look different, alright?
No, I was definitely thinking because of the blue that tan would be the way to go. So he looks like a pale gnome that's been out in the sun way too long, and his skin coloration has deepened because of it.
Okay.
So he's got a nice little tan going on. Definitely, I was thinking like jet black hair, mustache. How do you normally have your mustache?
Kind of like a fencer, like French kind of style,
Yeah.
like right here. What's happening right here?
Okay.
Wait, where's the closest picture? Oh, it's over here.
Yeah.
As much as possible, I try to fit. If it curls down, I curl out. If it curls out, I try to curl down. Like, so it's sort of a difference there, but I don't try to do maybe shape it up a little bit. So maybe it seems pretty clean cut as is. So there's not too much I can do there. Mainly dyeing it pitch black hair. I'm gonna give him
Pompadour.
Ooh, yes, he is greaser gnome.
Gilbert,
I love that shit. I love
Kevin,
Oh my gosh.
Kevin, do me a favor. Actually, I'll do it for you.
He's a tunnel snake
hold on.
now.
it. Love it.
When you're a jet.
I was just thinking the same thing, Mandy.
Gilbert, as Pockets is kind of, performing these deeds, a couple of times you notice that there's a slip in the accent or the way that he's talking. And there's definitely a very strange kind of mannerism that you keep picking up on. Blades, he's up until this point has seemed very masculine and kind of overly so. But something about the nature of this is you're not sure. It's definitely off-putting in that just based on the way he was kind of acting. It's not too. You had a stereotype, and it's just that whatever's happening now is not fitting that, and there are certain mannerisms that are off. They don't feel right coming from this burly bandit thug.
He's really into it. Hey, John, as an aside, did you explain how Blades is wearing Judgment when 87 had Judgment?
I have it wrapped, covered,
Oh,
behind
okay.
things. Like I specifically, even with weapons, like I have my javelin, I have my dagger. I'm not touching the sword for now, for sake.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't state the state of it. He does have it on his person. It was mainly
Yeah.
for Yenlorin there.
And then I would say, okay, everybody, in public, please refer to me as Gilligan Gibwack. That's my cover name here.
As you're
And actually, I have a good question for you, John. I don't know if in this
Sure.
in this world, if there's like any type of ID that a person has to have for the city, or like passport or anything like that.
papers are used to get out of the city and get into the city, and could be used to identify you if you're incarcerated. But other than that, you don't need them for anything else. But you're kind of looking over yourself, very satisfied with the look. They kind of, change your clothes a bit too, so you're not wearing exactly what you were wearing. And as you're kind of, looking yourself over, you look down at your, hip where you keep Cranebeak, and you notice that as Blades is kind of like done messing with you, you notice that the eyes are kind of glowing, and then as Blades moves away, they stop glowing.
Does that mean anything special to me?
You've never seen them glow before.
Interesting. And then after I am satisfied with my disguise, I would say, okay guys, I will be right back. And I would say I have to go somewhere. And I would grab my box and head on out to the bank.
Okay.
And I'll be right back. Hopefully it won't take me more than a half hour.
The moment he steps out the door, I turn to Yenny and I said,
Yenny, you want me to go tell him and just make sure he's okay?
Yes, and I believe you have message to pass along to old friend of ours.
Oh, what message?
In sewers.
What?
I sound like
He didn't come through.
Nah, man, that last part did not come through at all.
What? I whispered. What message?
See if you can leave something. I like whisper. See if you can leave something for the Magier. Tell him about hidden railroad out of city. We don't need to go with him, but he should know about it.
Oh, right.
so, and then I leave and follow. I tail Gilligan.
Okay.
And I turn back to the other two. So we have basement to explore. No?
Yes.
Cool.
I do not trust the blue gnome.
That is why I have my man to follow.
You would notice
But
that
we have basement to explore.
I'm not sure I trust your man either.
This is personal fault. Nothing I can do.
Okay. So
he would notice when he's tailing me that when I left the room or the house, like he would notice somehow when he comes out to look for me, like I'm the same person, but my color of my jacket's different. My clothes changed color somehow.
It's accurate. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a thing here because you are tailing him, and he is probably pretty wary, regardless. Okay. As you're kind of trundling along, Gilligan, heading towards wherever you were headed, you do notice that, like, even in the hustle and bustle, as you're getting ready to cross over the main street, you kind of look down at your belt again, kind of looking at Cranebeak, and you see, as you kind of activate it to change your outfit, you notice that the eyes glow again. And this kind of keys you immediately. You go, the last time it glowed like this, and the only time I've ever seen it glow, is when Blaze was near me. And you very quickly pick him out of a crowd.
Interesting. Well, I guess what I would do is say, okay, maybe they just don't trust me or something, but I'm just going to keep going and try not to let him know I know he's there.
Okay.
So.
And
Do I know he knows I'm there?
Right. But I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to try to lose him, you know what I mean? I'm just going to let him follow me.
strangely enough, Valette does not notice that Gilbert doesn't recognize that she's tailing him. And he goes on about his business. We'll cut to the others. Are you guys going to wake up Brox'gar and take him with you to the basement, or are you just going to go check it out yourselves?
Depends on if you want to NPC him.
I feel like Yenlorin completely forgot he existed, and that snoring has become white noise in his life.
I mean, I'd probably wake him up, but leave it up to him whether he was going to come with us or not.
He,
He's aware of it. Just so that, like, he doesn't wake up and there's no one in the house. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, understandable. He wakes up but he kind of gives you a look, like he's really tired.
I mean, he does drink a lot, so.
He kind of leans back into the cot and just goes back to sleeping.
So that means that you don't expect Joe to jump in.
If he does, he won't be forced into a bad choice. So
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
yeah.
I was more, again, as I said, wake him up just to make sure he's aware and that it's his choice.
Okay. Now, like I said,
Wait, did you just tell us we made a bad choice?
No.
Because now I'm nervous.
no. Again, I'm not going to put him in. I'm not going to put him in any choice that isn't his own. Is more or less what I should have said. He's not tailing Gilbert. He could be. He's not, hanging out with Tim's character. He could be, but I'm not. Since you guys are splitting the party, he's not staying with the party. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That
Yep.
said, as I explained to Kevin. As I explained to Kevin last session, there is a train car that goes kind of past Saer's home and then heads south and kind of connects to the Knuckle. I'm just going to draw that section here. Hold on. So it kind of goes down the road a bit.
Right.
That's the direction we want to go to. The location.
House Karloff.
You do have the address on the letter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, before we leave, I probably want to check with Yenlorin. Yenlorin, do you have a seal from letter that we opened?
I'm pretty sure I do, don't I? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
May I have it?
I don't see why not. Give it to him.
Okay. Yeah, you have the seal from the letter.
Cool. I'm adding that to my inventory.
Okay. And you guys then head on train to that location, right?
Sure.
Okay. You arrive in the cross section between the Noble District and the Port District, Old Brox'gar and Portsmouth, and make your way to the address. A lot of these houses are a lot lower in seating than the buildings that you're used to, but there are still quite a number of towers here. The towers in this place are not made of just wood, stone, and dwarven liquid stone, which is used in a lot of the buildings, especially the larger buildings. These buildings look like they've been purposefully crafted and have kind of a regalness to them. Some of them are covered in glass and shine in the morning sun. Some of them are covered in glass, but the glass has been kind of tinged with bronze or brass, shine gold down on sections of streets. And then some of these buildings still look like they've been here for as long as the city has been present. Even amidst the high skyline here, you do see the high walls of, and up on a hill, the high walls of Brox'gar Keep, which is the castle and capital with an O, building of the city proper. It doesn't take long for you to get to Karloff Manor. When you get there, it is one of the older buildings that's kind of close to the main street. It looks like the wall around it resembles more of like a lich gate around a cemetery than a wall around a manor house. The gates appear to be made out of wrought iron, which looks like it hasn't been maintained very well, and it's quite rusted. There are a couple of notices that have been placed into the stone, and upon quick inspection, Renn, you notice that they're notices from the gentry of this area, basically complaints about the upkeep of the property. But the gates do appear to be slightly open, and it looks like it's probably another 30 or so feet up to the main door of this house.
Okay. Does anything look out of place? Does anything look like, it's been tampered with? Is door open?
So you're kind of inspecting it, taking a gander, looking for anything of note, of interest. The thing that kind of strikes most of you guys as off, but not so much for Yenlorin, is a lot of the windows are not straight up and down. They're sideways, like cut to corners. And Yenlorin, you understand the purpose of this. It was a lot more common in Old High Strength than it is in this neighborhood. They're what are known as witches' windows. So witches are presumed to fly on broomsticks, much as the lore goes in real life. The windows were built that way so that they couldn't fly through, because they would be flying through straight, and they wouldn't be able to do so because they're at an angle. You recognize that this structure has been here for some 100 or so years, if not more.
Hey, I got a question before we get too much further.
Sure.
Did you guys realize that I was only going to be gone for like a half hour, and I'm going to come back, and you guys are going to be gone?
Yeah, but what's his name will still be there.
True, but then I'll be in a room with the sleeping guy.
We
That's
can
all I'm
ask
saying.
ask where he went.
I did lock the doors when I left, so can you get in?
Ha
Aha,
You
good
fucked.
point. Probably not, unless he's awake. Well, anyways, just wanted to say, because I thought I said I was going to go with you guys, but then I had to do something very quickly. But,
Yeah.
anyway.
In all honesty, in my head, we were given the rough directions to where, or the address of the place, right?
Correct.
That was mentioned.
Yep.
I was planning on once he's done, like he's in the bank, and I'll actually like post up outside the bank, and as he walks out, I'd be like,
So I guess we're heading to the house now.
I was planning on heading straight there, and I was gonna meet up with him at the bank.
You guys end up in some big long thing. You know,
Sure. Yeah, not a problem.
Just thought.
If you guys are going to head that way right after, then yeah, you'd probably be arriving there 30 or so minutes after they would, because the line runs every 30. That said, you guys back at the house. I'll basically interject when they arrive. But what would you like to do? You've entered into the
We're
property
inspecting.
and inspecting the
Yeah,
house.
right, right. Make sure nothing's out of place. The door, maybe any signs of tampering.
It doesn't look like there's any signs of tampering or anything to that effect. What you do see, though, is a figure kind of moving across one of the large windows up to the front, and kind of moving towards the large double doors that appear to be the entrance to the house. When the figure kind of moves,
Is it a woman?
When the figure kind of moves past the window, it doesn't appear feminine, and it looks very tall, quite tall. And the door opens, and exiting out from it is a humanoid figure with kind of like a light gray skin. All about the skin are tattoos that are basically all out and about. His head is bald, and the tattoos kind of come up and over. They don't appear to be making any specific shapes. They look like sharp, jagged angles and the like. Yenlorin, when you see this figure, you recognize it as a Trosdoshan, a Goliath, specifically one from the Westerlands, from Jernaris. He kind of looks you over, and kind of looks to the elf and says, in pretty decent common, Renn Keeneyes, I presume?
Nice. Renn would say, yes, I've been summoned by Lady Karloff to help her with her problems.
Please, come inside.
So then he would motion the others to follow.
Okay. You
Yeah, sure.
three enter the foyer. Upon entering in, you notice that the foyer kind of, the exterior of the house seems to have kind of an almost illusionary kind of effect to it. You don't think any magic is present. It just seems like the room that you've stepped into is a lot bigger than the house outside felt. This foyer, there's a staircase that leads up to a higher floor. There appear to be two doors that lead to the northern, or the more back end of the house, and a couple of passageways that lead off to the sides. With that said, the individual who has led you in, this butler, he's kind of wearing dark garb, light gray skin, tattoos, as mentioned, kind of turns and looks at you and places his hands behind his back and says, "Milady," loud enough that it kind of echoes throughout the house. "Oh, has my guest arrived? One moment." And you see a woman kind of lean over the railing. When you see her, she appears to be heavyset. It looks like she is wearing a very tight dress that is quite ill-fitting, and she does appear to have kind of as she's coming down the stairs, you can see that her face is very excited. She looks like she's very excited, but she has kind of a weaselly look to her. She looks kind of just weaselly is a good way to describe it. She looks to you and says, "Your friend Keeneyes, are you not?"
Yeah, Lady Karloft, I received your note.
Perfect. So, are you going to... Oh, are these your friends, your attendants?
They're my assistants, yes.
Oh, that should be fine, I suppose. Yeah, the noise comes down from the basement, and she gestures towards one of the side doors.
Can you tell us more about the noise when you first heard it?
Oh, it's been happening every night or so, and it was some time ago when I first heard it, and I've done everything to try and stop it, and nothing's worked.
So, John, just sort of out of character, could I take a moment to sort of scrutinize her? You said that wears an ill-fitting dress. Are there any signs around or from her that, like, maybe she's not as wealthy as she might seem, or maybe that she's not being completely honest with us?
Make your investigation check for scrutinize.
16. Crap.
Okay. You notice three very important factors that kind of just jump out at you. First, something about her facial features and just about the mannerisms that she's presented so far, not so much what she's wearing, are kind of ticking you off to the fact that it's not the case. She's probably not human. You think that she might be some sort of quasi-human, specifically like the shifter, which are lycanthrope touched, people with lycanthrope in their lineages, and that might be the reason why she has a Weasley look. And upon kind of that more closer scrutinization, you realize that it's not so much Weasley, it's rat. It's like a rat. That said, that's part one. Second thing is you just kind of get this feeling like she isn't one to change with the times, based on the way that the house has kind of been kept, the nature of the house, everything that's present, and the fact that she's wearing a dress that she probably wore when she was younger, kind of tips you up to the fact that she is holding on to something in the past. She just feels like she is very determined to kind of keep herself in a happier state, one that has long since passed. And then the last factor that you're kind of keying onto is she keeps on looking over to the large Goliath individual. Your presumption is that she's trying to affect that this person is there to protect her, but something about it seems like she's forcing that, to try and force an opinion. You're kind of realizing that it's like a screening effect. She's trying to appear vulnerable, but you're not sure if she is. You think that she's either trying to over-amplify the fact that she is vulnerable, or she's not vulnerable at all, and she's trying to mislead you into thinking that she might be.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay, so I had asked her about when she first heard the noise, right?
Yeah, and she said a few months ago.
And what have you done to investigate the noise?
Not too much. Other than other people helping out, there was the watch. They said they wouldn't come a calling any longer because they thought I was lying, and Well, there were the cell swords from the ports. My man was able to hire a few of them to go down and check it out, and well, they never returned. And the Watch investigated that matter as well, and said they probably just got lost in the sewers or the ruins below. If you're familiar with the area, a lot of old structures rest underneath this newer city.
So your basement leads to some older sewers?
Oh, I don't know what it leads to. I'm not going to check. And neither is my man.
Ha! This is fair.
Can we discuss payment for our services?
Oh, of course. If you can find out what the mystery is and solve it, I'll pay you 500 gold apiece.
That is
the basement
sufficient.
we go.
So if you need help with Taylor, I have a friend who does clothes.
What?
I was saying, if you need help with Taylor, I have a friend who does clothes.
What are you trying to say? The Goliath kind of steps forward and kind of looks at you. He's standing a good 7'9", and he's kind of looking down at you, confused. Like they think there
Cut to
might
the
be.
montage.
They think there might be an insult here, but they're not really pressing it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be insulting. The clothes look ill-fitting.
Oh,
If
so
she needs a new tailor, I have a friend.
so she says the basement's just this way, and she gestures towards one of the doors, to the side doors. The doors appear to all have been shut, but she leads you over to this door. She opens it, and hold on a second. Not so good, you guys. She looks down the basement and hits a switch on the side panel there, and you see the familiar sparks of electricity kind of shimmer shine along the sides as the wire that kind of courses along the near ceiling kind of ignites the electric torches and illuminates the steps down into the basement.
That following the electric code of the city?
They do appear to fall into code, yeah. Okay.
Well,
Would it be to the lead first?
So, is she? So she's no longer in earshot.
She's nearby. She's gesturing for you guys to go down to the basement to figure
Okay,
it out.
so let's go down to the basement to figure it out. And what
Okay.
kind of light sources? So we
Electric
do we
lights.
need light sources?
There are
Okay,
electric
light
lights.
sources. Great.
And you guys all go down?
So we want to make sure that who's behind at this point? Is it just Gilbert?
It's Gilbert
and
Blades.
Okay. So do you want to make sure that we can leave word for them?
No,
No?
It would be fine.
just don't think about those things, man.
Oh man. Okay. So Renn would
Just don't trust
say
either of them.
Renn would say to Yenlorin, can you please leave a note on a tree outside or something to tell them what to do when they get in here?
I have good idea, and I have a fucking owl. I'm just gonna tie a little note to the owl and let her fucking find Blades,
Okay.
so she can like fly up to him and he give him the note.
You step
She's a
outside.
pretty smart owl.
As you're doing so, the butler kind of gives you strange looks and kind of seems to be moving towards you, getting kind of close to you. You are allowed out, and the bird is allowed to flee. And then after you're done, he kind of nods his head. You kind of wander past him and head back to the group.
So let's close the door behind us.
Oh, the butler totally did close the
Okay.
the outside door.
Okay, so as we descend the stairs, Renn would sort of whisper to the others that something seems off about her, and specifically what.
And your
what he-
fears are brought to light, because it sounded like you were all going down the stairs, and just as you're doing so, you hear a cackling laugh from above, the door shuts behind you, and then all the stairs fall
we're
flat into a ramp,
Oh,
and
we're
you
sliding.
slide straight down into the basement.
Did I go face first?
Well, you'd be the first one as you were
Yeah, I
looking
know.
backwards, so
God damn it!
yeah, probably.
I think we're food. I want to. What I want to know afterwards is whether John was inspired by any literature for this.
Oh, a bit.
'Cause I have it because it sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Jane Austen.
No, it sounds like A Rose for Emily. It sounds like William Faulkner. But just to be clear, Matt.
It sounds like Jane Austen. Oh my god, that was my favorite part of Pride and Prejudice. God damn.
The ran
Alright.
down into the monster.
Yeah,
I
with the
think we're gonna
fucking
be doing that.
cackling old lady who just
Yeah,
trapped some
we're
bitches
food.
in her fucking basement. Ah.
For food.
Okay.
Sweet.
Okay, so what
Okay.
happens?
So you guys are at the base of the basement, and the laughing seems to have stopped. The stairs are currently in the flat state, so it's a ramp upwards, and it looks like there's a large water basin just around the corner there. There does appear to be light coming from around the corner, but the water basin, it appears to be just like a very large wooden barrel.
Well,
So this is a good job that you have found.
Yeah,
he's good for keeping heads low, though. Nobody find
Nobody
us
will-
now.
that's right.
Nobody find us here.
We might have to find some other way out of here.
Oh boy.
All right. So going from just left to right, we'll start with Andy there. You are wanting to investigate anything in particular?
So you said this was water basin?
Down south, yeah.
I'm trying to. I don't know why.
John,
Correct.
just to say, I
I
can't
can't
see
move anything. Yeah, I think we're on the
Oh.
wrong layer, maybe.
No, I see why.
On Twitch, I should see things, but I just can't see anything right now.
I'm all
Can
set.
you move your character at all? Your token?
Yeah, I'm fine.
No, I'm not.
You have dark vision, right?
Yes.
You all three do. You see
Fuck
now,
yeah, buddy.
Matt?
Yep, I can see now.
You should have no problem. Andy, do you see?
I see. I just can't move. I can't do anything with my token.
Weird. You should be fine.
Let me try a different browser. Crap.
Hold on.
So I want. So you said that there's a basin to the left.
To this, yeah.
South.
Well, you're left, correct?
Yeah. So I'd actually be interested in the grate. That's to
Okay.
the other side.
Great, you're gonna go investigate it. All right. And then Matt.
Screw it. I'll check out the basin.
Okay. And Zach.
I'm just gonna plant myself like here and kind of observe the whole room, cause some shit's gonna go down, and one of us needs to be prepared for it, cause there's a reason why nobody's left the basement.
Oh, also, John, I do take out Osafun.
Okay.
Just
Um,
so that you have a heads up.
Yeah, me too.
And you're passing by Yenlorin when you do so?
Yeah.
Okay. The both of you get this strange sensation as you pass each other. Yenlorin, you see the dream shard kind of start to shimmer shine, and then you see like an almost rainbow-like pattern kind of erupt inside of the stone. So it's basically a rainbow through the prism of a purple like lens. And
Right.
Saer, you see the light, a similar light kind of pulse through your blade, but it seems to brighten at the purple shade on the rainbow of the Katana's glass blade.
Okay.
All right. As you move up to the basin, Renn, as you move around to the grate, Renn, you'd be the first to notice. You're not alone down here. You hear movement in the boxes on the eastern wall, and you see come around the corner of the boxes in the large kind of desk there, a woman kind of stepping out towards you. As she
This cube.
does so, you notice that she's very strangely dressed. She's wearing a very thick, bronze collar around her neck, and there appears to be the symbol of House Karloff, from what you could tell of the heraldry outside, which is a red cross over a blue field. And she's kind of walking towards you with her dark black, almost, you can actually see spotting of like dark grays in her hair.
I'm walking backwards.
She's kind of walking towards you, kind of stepping out into the light, and as she does so, you kind of see her. She reaches up and grabs her hair and pulls her head up out of the brass fixture around her neck and reveals that there's a chain where her neck should be. As that happens, you see that there's cut lines on the sides of her mouth that kind of open up, and her mouth is filled with metal, just jagged teeth, and you hear this just sickening as she holds her head up. Roll initiative.
Yeah.
She seems nice. I like her.
Let's make friends.
Yeah.
Too bad Kevin's not here to help us make friends.
I've
He's
never
good at
been
making
more happy that I'm not with you than right now.
Kind of sad. I want experience.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll get there at the end, and like.
And revive us from our death.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we're dead, yeah. There's no tracker,
well,
John.
We could always rob the bank, and that
One
would give us a
second.
lot of experience, and we die.
I think the bad decision here was that we split the party.
Yeah, that wasn't my original
Party
intention,
is
but I did
never a
have
bad
some-
idea, guys.
God damn
Never
it.
a bad
Right.
idea. Always good.
That could be good, yeah.
Okay, Matt Colwell.
I rolled a 17.
I rolled a 7.
I also rolled a 17.
You probably have better dexterity than I do.
Really?
I have 12.
Yeah, that's true. I got 15, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For what I actually went with a strength-based build. Weird.
Strange.
Okay. Who am I missing?
Me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Lauren.
That's weird.
What'd you get?
17.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he'd probably go before me.
Let's see.
His 17 stronger than my 17.
Yep.
All right. As one last kind of situation, she kind of lets her head go, and it kind of just falls back into place in the bracket around her neck, and then her left hand just snaps at the wrist, and a blade shoots out of her forearm. All right.
Cool.
And this is
I
what
think
she
it
looks
was
like.
a rotten job you found. Oh, she's pretty.
Yeah,
Ugly. Pretty ugly. That's
Oh
it.
my gosh.
that is hideous.
Wow.
She's a Frankenstein. House Karloff. I get it.
Well played. All right. Yenlorin, you are first on the initiative tracker.
Fuck yeah, buddy. Oh man, who wants to guess what the Warlock's gonna do?
Make an intelligence arcana check for me real quick.
Buff the fighter. Buff the fighter.
Let me know what you got.
24.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that what you're dealing with here is some form of construct made from parts of a person. It looks like all the parts that have been utilized are from the same person. It just looks like certain parts are missing. Based on what you can see, it looks like there's structural portions in the center that may not be fleshy, just based on the fact that she's holding her head on a chain that's connected to it, and then the sword hand. But based on everything that you're looking at, she just looks like some sort of modified flesh golem.
Would I know anything about vulnerabilities for that?
You would know a bit about their immunities. They are immune to lightning, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks not made by adamantine weapons. Condition immunities would be charmed, exhaustion, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, poison, normal for normal flesh golems. And you would know that they are basically hulking beasts of just raw hit
This is
points and
bad.
destruction.
This is so good.
This is so bad.
So good.
Lightning
We'll be fine.
is lightning's a big deal. If you hit it with lightning, it'll make them stronger.
Yeah, we don't have
Great.
any lightning. That's good.
That's what
Neither.
you think.
But I will mention to everyone, don't shock it. It's not good for us. And I am still gonna hit it with, well, not hit it because I fucking rolled a 10.
That'll hit.
Damn it.
10.
That'll hit?
Mhm.
Fuck yeah. I'll do 8 damage.
Okay. And what was the damage type? Force?
Force, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you say it was immune to fire?
I didn't. You see a bolt of Eldritch energy shoot from Yenlorin's hand. You've seen it before, Renn. You've seen it before, Saer. And strike this creature soundly. It kind of causes it to wobble, and then its mouth kind of like slides open almost unconsciously, and you can see that the teeth are kind of chittering a bit. It's just very weird. Alright, Saer.
Saer's slightly annoyed about the don't shock it thing. So I will not be using my Crimson Right.
Thank you.
Fire, fire.
I don't have fire. I only
Oh,
have
I have
one
fire.
ability.
I thought he said it didn't have vulnerabilities.
He didn't say whether it had vulnerabilities or not.
I just told you what it wasn't immune to, but you aren't certain. You aren't certain whether it has fire problems.
With it.
John, I'm, you know, I might as well. I'm going to use the targeting monocle thing that I have on.
Okay. Yeah.
and
Bonus
then-
action to do so. You guys see her kind of
Yeah.
reach over to her shoulder pauldron, and this device kind of sets up against her eye, and there's a piece of glass that covers over her left eye. It seems to have some sort of lighting to it, and she's very focused on the target now. Go ahead.
And then I'm just going to hit it.
Okay.
Hit that thing.
That's a 12.
You advance towards it and then hit it.
Yeah, advance towards it and then hit it.
Okay.
So that's a 12, and then
12 hits.
14 damage.
Okay. Now, as you'll note, on your Esper edges, they are technically magical, but they do not do magical damage. So it looks like the cut is strong, but it doesn't look like it does exactly what you anticipated. You're pretty sure with the swing you just swung, a girl of this size would have lost her arm to your blade. You've test cut it before on other things, but it seems that it actually stops in the arm, and you're pretty sure that has something to do with like the metal structure that it's built around. Yeah. So, okay. It goes to it. It kind of reaches up with its blade hand, and as it does so, it kind of like leans forward too. So it's kind of like leaning and lurching forward with the blade. And you're kind of expecting it to kind of swing in at you, but just as you think that's the case, its head fires off of its chest and slams at your chest.
Gross. The head is on a chain.
Yep.
Okay.
21 hits. You there.
Yeah,
Saer.
that probably hits. Probably.
You're taking 9 points of damage.
Oh no, where's our cleric?
So I have 7 hit points left, guys.
Okay. As it kind of bounces off of you, the head kind of continues spiraling out, and you can hear the chain feeding off of a coil inside of its chest. And surprisingly to you, the head continues on with like a strange velocity and slams towards Renn. 16 misses, right? Or does it hit?
A 16 hits.
Actually, hold on, John.
Yeah.
As a reaction,
You have to be adjacent to him.
No protection.
no, wait a second. Hold on.
Oh no! You have. Oh, sorry. You're.
I don't
Yeah.
have to be adjacent.
You're
to
doing
all
the.
of this.
You're doing the eye thing.
Yeah. I'd just like to say, what you see, Andy, is I look at the head going towards you. My eyes turn blood red, and it now has disadvantage.
Okay.
Okay.
As
Thank you. You're my hero.
The head kind of spirals like a soccer ball on the chain. It kind of looks towards you. With my second hit, I only hit a 14. Does that hit, Renn?
It does not.
Okay. So it seems to kind of look and kind of, because its directionality changes midair, it slams against the wall near you. And then you see the chain kind of reel around, kind of whipping her head across the northern wall. And then it slams back into place in the chest at that spot. That's her turn. Renn.
Okay. So Renn is going to step up.
Did you actually yell out "use fire" as Renn?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And I'm going to use a device.
Okay.
Everyone has not seen at this point. So he pulls something from his side. And you see that.
All right. Uh, 18 hits.
But it has to make a DC 13 deck save.
It doesn't do
Please.
as much damage as you anticipated.
Right. I'm really counting on the other part,
Yeah.
though.
And I got a... Is it deck save?
Dex.
Yeah, I'm on my ass. Or
Yes!
pulled. Which would you prefer?
I would definitely want you prone. I'm always going to go for prone.
This very strange-looking whip snaps out of Renn's hand. The cable appears to be made out of metal, Saer, and slams onto the creature's leg. It then goes rigid, and Renn kind of pulls it towards him, but it seems to be pulling as well, so it's the combined strength of Renn, which isn't much, but and the tension cable. And it causes the creature to fall onto its leg. Or its knees and prone.
And then you see it sort of let go and retract back into its thing. And Renn is going to sort of retreat a little bit.
Okay.
And I would like to use a bonus action hide if I'm allowed to do that around the corner.
Yeah, you can give it a go.
I have enough movement.
Yeah, I know, you guys are fast.
Well,
I tried.
Okay. Yen, as you kind of come up, go back to a hiding position near the ramp, you see Renn kind of coming back around, you snap back and around, and you...
You said use fire, right?
He did say
Yes.
that.
I use fire.
Okay. You see him pull out this strange device as well, Andy. He kind of activates it, and it's like it looks like a torch, more like a flashlight really, but at the end of it now there's like a ball of flame, and once he has it there, he lobs the ball of flame towards the creature. It hits, and
7 fire damage.
seems to catch the robes of the creature alight. It starts kind of becoming very confused and kind of trying to struggle to pull away at the fire that's on it.
This is classic Frankenstein. I love it.
It looks like it's actually got an emotion on its weird face now that appears to be fear. Alright.
There's your fire.
Saer?
Yeah, I'm going to hit it again.
Okay.
So it's prone still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm
Oh.
advantage, but that
Yeah, it would have... The disadvantage on the range attack would have still hit. That's fine. Yeah, hits.
21
Okay. And
Hunter's Mark,
So
which is another 3.
10.
You know what? I'm also going to add a D10's worth of
with
is
Asafuna.
it D8? Yeah.
D8.
Is it a D8? Okay, yeah. A D8 worth of fire damage.
Okay. Roll a D8.
No.
Nice.
So that's a 1.
It doesn't really add much to the flame, and most other people don't actually recognize that the flame becomes slightly alight before it hits. But yeah, it's on the ground and it's kind of freaking out on flame. As it's kind of like rolling around, you see that it tears the clothing off, like rips it away. And once it does so, you realize that the woman underneath is completely ungarmented. However, the torso from between the legs, connecting to the legs, all the way up to the neck, is completely autonomous. It appears that it's mostly brass and bronze that's been kind of constructed into a very vague female shape, with the head portion inside. There are gears that are kind of whirring on the outside, and some that you can kind of hear on the inside now that the cloak is no longer covering it. She stands up and she reaches forward with kind of a menace and a very stern-looking grip. The sword slams back into her wrist and the hand becomes reactive again, and she grabs at Saer. I need a contested either athletics or acrobatics, your choice, Matt.
Aha, 21.
We got a 26. So she grabs your shoulders
Bastard.
and pulls you in close to her. As she does so, her head kind of like snaps up and then drops down to kind of try and bite at you. 13. No, sorry. Add modifier. That's a 17.
17. I hit my belt.
Okay. You see her as she's being held and her arms are closed. She kind of touches her belt, and the pauldron that has the device kind of connected to her eye, a portion of it snaps off and moves and kind of automatically connects with the face and bats it away like a small moving shield. It kind of holds its position there as it's kind of wobbling around, and it bats the head away, which ends up back in its place. All right.
I'm kind of running out of options. If you people would like to actually,
Right.
hit it again.
Fuck you! I've hit it twice.
Renn is gonna try the same thing
Okay.
and use the tension cable.
Okay. That'll hit.
Wow.
And that will drop it again. Because of its current grapple status, it will drag Saer to the floor as well. You're both prone. All right. Yen.
I think it's more fire time.
Okay.
15 hit.
Yeah, you throw fire into it. It hits. It doesn't seem to hold a light like the last time. Roll me some damage.
3.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to
Oh,
catch.
because the flesh is gone?
It doesn't seem to catch her much aflame. The iron or the brass chassis in the center seems to kind of heat up a bit, but it doesn't look like it affects her as much as it did the last run around. All right, Saer.
I mean, I'm gonna try to break free of this garple.
The other thing you notice as you're kind of, on the ground with her is that you're laying on a grate, and it looks like the grate has a mechanism not too far from your reach that would cause it to drop down.
What, the grate drop down?
Mm-hmm.
Am I currently over the grate, or am I?
You are currently over the grate, but she's kind of in your square. You're kind of sharing that same space. If you were to hit the latch, the two of you would fall.
Right. Okay, I'm still going to try to break the grapple right now.
Okay.
First priority is, don't die.
So give me an athletics. Yeah.
That was terrible.
You kind of try and wriggle and read, but as you're doing so, you hear the auto shield kind of snap back into place, and it kind of, causes you to lean in that direction to let it like snap and hold. It's not re-geared, but it's back in its spot, and she kind of maintains a hold on you because of that. You still have an action.
Well, guys, I still have an action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's part of your movement to do that.
Hey, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to hit the button for the grate.
Okay. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Alright, guys, I just might have killed myself. That's a 5.
All right.
And a 5.
You watch as the two of them descend down. Let's see here.
I guess inspiration wouldn't help at this point, right?
No.
I don't have
Yeah, neither do I.
Also,
Would only-
they were both 5.
They were both 5s, what I mean. Yeah.
You take 5 points of falling damage as you fall 20 feet. You hear her also taking falling damage, but you are pretty certain she's less susceptible to it. And you feel that you are in a very narrow space. You don't feel like you hit water directly. You felt like you hit something more solid. And as you kind of like look at it, your blade starts to glow just faintly, just enough for you to see what it is. It appears that there are several corpses in this waterway that have been dropped, much like you have been dropped down into this place. You also see that now in this space, her eyes are actually kind of starting to glow a red-orange color. It goes to her initiative. She is no longer holding you. She will stand up, and she will attack you. Alright, first attack is a 14, which I think misses, right?
That does miss, yes.
Yeah. And
You
next
have
attack.
advantage because he's prone.
Yeah, she did stand up.
Please miss.
My high number was 14, though. And then her second attack is 25.
So I'm unconscious.
That'll be not enough to
It doesn't matter, John. I'm unconscious.
Yeah, I was just making sure it wasn't enough to kill you outright.
Yeah.
Because she does roll 2d8 plus 4 for damage. Okay. You guys down there.
What if I had to roll like an 8 and a 7 or something like that?
Yep, you guys down there. You see them both kind of fall down into the hole. The next thing you see is that the head flies up out with a chain connected to it and slams into the stone nearby. You see its teeth sink into the rock, and then you hear the chain whirring as the body, you assume, is being dragged up after the head. Alright. Renn, you're up.
So, just so I understand, Saer is at the bottom unconscious.
To your knowledge.
Right, and the monster is trying to climb back up.
It's succeeding, though. It hasn't made it all the way up. Its head is connected to the top like a grappling hook. The chain is connected to the body, and it, from the sounds of it, is dragging its body up the pit.
But the body is not all the way up.
Correct. The only thing you can see is the head and the chain that goes into the hole.
Would I think that I have time to get to the switch before she climbs up?
What switch? Oh, the switch that opens it? It looked
Yes.
like it looked like it was a mechanism that just causes for a quick drop. It doesn't look like it's a mechanism that will shut it.
Okay. So when the mechanism, when it I'm just trying to understand this.
So
it's still closed.
It's
still
open.
open?
It's open. Yeah.
No.
To close
It's like
it.
a manual reset.
Right.
So you have to like grab it and
And
pull
lift
it
it back
tight
up.
and snap it into place, but there's a button that quick releases it.
Yeah.
Okay. And now there's the head of the monster in the way of that.
Well, the head of the monster is on the stone just outside of the hole. It slammed its teeth into the stone, and it's basically using its head and neck as a grappling hook and chain to get itself back up to the top. It hasn't made it all the way up.
Oh, we're so fucked.
Okay, I'm gonna go forward and again use my grappling hook to try to attack the head.
Okay.
If whatever's above ground that I could and maybe try to pull that.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make an attack. Okay. It's
20?
going to... Yeah, it takes the damage. It's going to make a dexterity check. Oh, cool. Finally. So I rolled a 15 minus 1 is a 14.
Crap.
Damn. That would have been funny. Knock
You
it from-
latch onto the head and try and pull it out of the stone, but it's like looking at you like angrily, and its teeth are like, and you're like, just let it fly
Okay.
off.
Then I would unlatch it and try to move out of the way.
Okay. Do you back up towards the wall that you came from?
I do.
The second he gets next to you, Yenlorin, you see the dream shards start to spark again and become brighter still. But you also notice something as well. There's a small sword at the hip of Renn, and you can see that there's light coming out of the scabbard. Like the blade itself was emanating some sort of red light at his belt. He doesn't seem to have noticed because his attention is still around the corner.
Interesting. But something to deal with if we survive.
Do you? Okay, so you're gonna ignore it for now. Okay.
I guess. What am I gonna do? Like touch tips and see if we shoot off some like ropes? I don't know.
Your call.
Yeah, you know what? That is what I'm gonna do. Like a fucking jackass
Okay.
without saying anything. I would like to take like the dream shard and you touch the jewel tip to like his glowing blade. If I can
Okay.
like unscab it and like
Andy?
cap it.
Andy?
Yep.
You see him do this? Would you like to expend your reaction to draw your blade and figure out what's going on here?
Yes, I want to help him.
Almost as if compelled by the spirits of the blade itself, you feel the sudden urge to act in this manner. You run out towards the creature's head with your sword and jam it towards the head. Make an attack roll with advantage.
Oh, nice. $13.
Okay? And Yenlorin, I need you to go ahead and make an Eldritch Blast attack, please.
We're like connected. Weird.
Perfect.
23.
Go ahead and roll damage as well.
12.
Perfect. Your blade pierces a lot more than you anticipated it based on your noticing of the cutting and slashing from the others. What you also notice too is the second the blade hits, you feel required to remove your hand from the blade. Yenlorin fires his Eldritch Blast, and it seems to connect with the white hilt of the weapon and cause it to bury deeper into the creature. Once that happens, the creature is sprung away from the blade, and its head flies back into the hole, and you hear it drop again.
Wow.
And your blade kind of moves back into your hand. You don't know how, but you feel it just kind of flip into your hands like, I don't know, you did something good.
That's amazing.
And Yenlorin, you also felt controlled to kind of move in that direction. The two of you just unlocked Spire, which is a duel technique.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh man. I was not ready for Marvel vs. Capcom tag team fucking fight moves.
It
Good call, Matt, Zach.
fell down. Matt, you're kind of in the throes of unconsciousness, but you hear a sickening pop. It doesn't sound like it's yours. You don't feel any more pain, and you don't lose any death saving throws. But speaking of death saving throws, can you roll one for me?
Oh no! What are you doing?
Okay. 2 failed death saving throws. Alright. The creature's head flies back up out of the hole, slams into the stone, and very quickly reels itself back up. This is its complete and utter action. It lands on the stone near Renn. Renn, you're up. You're holding Ketsujin in your hand, and it seems to still be kind of charged with energy.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
Oh no, 7.
Okay, swing and a miss.
Actually,
You just seem to be overpowered by the nature of it. There's something about the weapon.
am I allowed to? Can I retreat? Can I step back?
If you want to bonus action withdraw, you can.
Yeah, disengage. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Stop.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Stop. Go back.
Okay. To where?
Where you were next to her.
So So I get
Okay.
the bonus action disengage.
Yeah, before you move, you're kind of close to the hole when you started. You hear what sounds like the death throes of a woman who's fallen down a hole. She seems like she's still alive, but she won't be for very much longer.
Okay, so can I how about I jump down the hole?
Okay.
Thank you so much for doing that.
And you don't land on her. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check.
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Oh man.
Yes!
You land directly next
Look
to
at
her.
that, 25 and a 6.
The second you hit near her, you see that she's holding Asafune still in her hand, and she's kind of, like, holding on for dear life. But you notice that Ketsujin, when you land, still holding it, is starting to kind of pulse red light and kind of glows more so with different kind of energy, a strange kind of almost prismatic energy. Yeah.
Can I put my sword next to...
You don't have an action.
First? Okay.
Yeah. Yenlorin.
Thank you, Tim. I'm gonna hit this thing in the face with another thing.
Okay.
19
Yeah.
and 6.
It takes the blow. As it does so, it kind of like reels its head and kind of looks over at you, and then it drops its jaw, kind of falls into its hole, but you can see the top teeth. They're just super mad. All right, Matt. Death saving throw, man.
Yes!
You do not die
You got that.
this
Got
turn. All right. It goes to it. It's bolting straight for Yen.
Man, I'm so fucked.
Attack number 1. Yeah, that'll hit. That's 12 points of damage.
All right, guys.
Come on, you got this. We're gonna be there soon.
And
Where are the reinforcements?
Snake Eyes. Wow. Hold on a second.
Oh, thank God, because I have literally 1 hit point left.
Do me a favor and make me a dexterity saving throw.
It's an 11.
As it kind of comes in, it swings at you with its blade hand, which it's asserted, and then it snaps at you, like shooting its head off. As it does so, you kind of move the staff in between you and Intercede and cause it to ricochet up over you. Its head then bites onto the lantern behind you and slams down into it, causing it to kind of shock a bit. It seems to be strangely more empowered by it. It doesn't seem to heal it. Just it's activating an ability I forgot to do. It seems like it's now enraged.
Uh-oh.
Renn, on your turn, you kind of look back down at the blade and you notice that it is pulsing prismatic energy.
Right. So he's failed 2 death saves.
Mm-hmm.
Do I risk it, Matt, that it's gonna heal you, or do I just heal you? I know they're telling me what to do. Ugh. Are you okay with me putting the swords together, Matt?
Your call.
Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Nothing
Touch the
happens.
sword. Fuck no.
It's not an action to do it.
exactly what I want.
It's not an action. Okay.
Yeah, it's not an action to do
Okay.
it. It's just that for a system note, Saer is incapable of making a reaction right now.
Okay. So what I'm gonna for my action? Do that. I know it's a lot of text.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna basically inject him with a healing potion.
Okay. You pull out a healing potion. It would just be easier to just pour it down his face if you have one. But yeah.
I don't know. It's in the thing.
Okay. Yeah, if you have a
So
healing,
I can't miss.
yeah, just roll 2d4 plus 2. Alright. Get 8 hit points back, Saer, as you wake up and there's kind of like a thing sticking in your neck. Alright. Yen, obviously not the best place to be. What would you like to do?
I believe Yeah, I'm gonna disengage. Run away. Can I jump down the hole too?
Yeah. Make an acrobatics check.
Dex?
Oh, yeah. Dex acrobatics. Ooh.
That is a big motherfucking 4.
Ren, make an strength athletics check, please.
Oh boy. How do I do that?
Just strength if you don't have athletics trained.
Just a strength. Does that just hit strength?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the word.
Oh, that's so good.
Okay.
Got a -1 there.
You fire the dart and then kind of like put the ejectable gun back in your pocket and kind of look at Saer as she's coming to. Then you hear like this rattling sound and then this whoosh sound, which you look up and recognize as the sound of robes kind of hitting the air. And down comes this very brightly colored man glowing in kind of a purplish light, which becomes brighter and brighter as he gets closer to you. And you kind of move back away from Saer and kind of just catch him, strangely.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
You instead take the damage that he would have taken for falling, which is 3.
Okay.
Oh, thank god.
No worries.
My hero!
Gotcha.
Saer,
Give him a big kiss.
with your dark vision and kind of bringing yourself back to light, you recognize that you're on a pile of dead bodies, but they don't appear to be entirely intact. There are pieces missing. Mostly heads. The heads are not present. Then you recognize, too, that just down the passageway and just up the passageway that you're in, the waterway, there are large metal grates that are very narrow that block passage in either way.
Yeah, kind of figured. Don't want evidence floating away.
It does look like the pileup of the bodies is quite long towards the flow of the water. So yeah, exactly that.
Thought I was going to meet Octavius there for a minute. I'm going to hold an action for if this thing comes down, I want to hit it. Because I don't know anything about glowing blades.
Oh no, your sword is glowing crazy right now. There's a purple portion of it that's glowing brightly, and there's a red portion of it that's glowing brightly.
Could I touch
Okay,
my
that's
sword to the red portion?
It's not your turn yet.
So I'm going to hold my... I look at that, think it's weird, and I'm going to hold my action and wait to attack if this thing pops down here.
Sure. You see its form kind of appear up above you, and then its head drops down after you. I'll allow you to take an attack against it because it's a smaller target. You have it has a higher AC. That's more than enough.
24.
Yeah. Okay. You notice that it does a lot more damage than you were anticipating. It actually cuts a portion of its jaw open. It seems to cut through it like it was a magical weapon. And its head pops away, but still kind of bites at you before it flies away. It will miss your 15 AC, surprisingly. And then it'll drop its head down for a second attack. It will not miss with that one. And it deals 3 and 4 is 7.
On me.
Yep. Alright.
I hope you have more of those darts available.
Renn.
I now touch my sword to the red portion of Saer's.
Saer, you see him kind of touching the red blade to yours, and you feel kind of a sensation to do likewise and kind of connect with it. At this point, as a player, I'm asking you if you want to expend your reaction to engage the blades.
Do it.
Sure, whatever. I don't have anything else to use it for right now.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Andy, go ahead and roll your sneak attack damage.
Oh.
And Saer, go ahead and roll your witch blade.
Oh, come on.
Which the D, it's a D4, right?
Yeah, the right damage is
Yep.
D4.
Okay. Cool. Everybody who is an ally of the two who are committing to this duel technique regain 3 hit points.
But not us ourselves.
No, all of them. Everybody, yeah.
Great,
The
I
second,
now have
Thank
4 hit
fucking
points.
God.
So does Zach.
the second you touch the blades together, they both start pulsing out this rainbow aura out away from you guys, which creates this healing sensation in the lot of you. You've gained the technique. Again, just so you understand how these dual techs work, before we get too far into it, they're once per day options, but each player who activates them is the one who's losing their once per day, and they can activate them with other people. When Yen activates with Renn, it creates Spire. When Renn activates with Saer, it creates Aura Whirl.
But if Renn connects with me, does that also create Spire, or does it create something else?
I don't know.
Oh.
Fantastic. Fantastic. These are things I like to
So
hear.
wait, so it's, you have to initiate it, Zach? Is that it?
Yeah,
I have already initiated, and you used your reaction. Then you initiated with Matt, and Matt used his reaction. So
You get-
I still have an initiation with Matt, and Matt still has an initiation.
You get one initiation. You choose the person you
Ah.
initiate with.
So I only get one initiation per day.
Right.
I don't get to use each of my
So
initiations.
Matt hasn't
Correct.
done it yet.
So Saer still has
Correct.
an initiation.
But Saer has the option to touch your blade, and
Or
that
the
may
shard.
or may not do something different
Correct.
than last time. We
Um,
haven't determined that.
So that was Ren's turn. Yenlorin, you're up.
I find this confusing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Can I see him from here?
She's just above the grates, yeah. She's looking down them.
All I need is sight, baby. It's 15 hit,
Yes.
8 force damage.
How do you want her to die?
Nice.
So I imagine like one of the few parts I can clearly see is her head.
Mm-hmm.
So you see him like force project and just like blows the head so hard the chain snaps and you don't see where the head goes. You just hear it clank against the wall back there, and the body sort of wobbles and then falls into the pit next to us.
Okay. I'm going to change it just slightly for lulz. Exactly what you said happens, except that it doesn't fall into the pit. It kind of falls down, and the chain just starts kind of unroiling from her body and spills into the pit. Based on what you've detected of her weight, she should be able to withhold any of you lightweighted fellows and ladies if you were to climb up.
Nice.
I will go first to make sure it is safe. And as I do that, also, I'm just going to touch Yenlorin's shoulder while I walk past, and you gain an extra 2 hit points.
Fuck yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no problem, man.
She,
And then, yeah, I'm climbing up the neck.
I assume you guys all get out okay. Meanwhile, Gilbert and Blades, you guys get off the train and are kind of looking around. I want the two of you to make an intelligence check real quick. Just raw intelligence.
Raw intelligence. All right, let's do this. Raw intelligence.
I rolled a 12.
You don't remember the
I rolled a
exact
10.
address, but you do remember the name, so you spend a little bit of time trying to gather information from people nearby, but you very quickly find out where Karloff Manor is. You make your way that way, and you see that the grates are slightly open, or the gates are slightly open. The wall looks more like a lich gate to a cemetery than it does like a gate around a house. And you also notice that standing out in the space between the entrance of the gate and the entrance of the house is a Goliath who's kind of just standing there. It looks like he's just walking back and forth in a pacing fashion.
You got that, guys.
All right.
So
Is this the Karloff residence?
yeah, what he said.
He looks to you and he says, "Are you Renn Keeneyes?"
Uh,
We know him.
We're supposed to meet him here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Come with me.
Okay.
He leads you.
Did the bird not give him my note?
The bird's just outside, so the bird can kind of fly over in that direction. It was commanded to do so. So, yeah, it flies over to, who'd you say? Blades, right?
Yeah.
Blades. It lands on Blade's shoulder, and it seems to pass a note to you.
I read the note.
Basically says we went inside to deal with the basement situation. They should know about the three of us having entered. If they don't acknowledge it, then we haven't come out.
You got that.
So, have they already been here?
He leads you into the foyer, if you guys follow him. And just as you ask that question, he slams the door shut and kind of moves his shoulder, like the fabric over his shoulder, away so you can see the flesh. And it's starting to bubble, bright red like cysts. And then it bursts open, and out comes this nasty thorn-looking barbed metal stake with a spike at the end. Roll initiative.
Oh, fun! We got our own fight
You got
now.
your own stuff.
We don't have a map for you because it's going to be a very simple one. Let me hold on a second. Don't
Play that means easy.
You both die in one hit.
Raising the stakes.
now roll initiative.
I can't see my token, so
We
I'll
should have
We're on the.
a
Are we,
cleric.
Initiative,
oh,
right.
oh, sorry. Let's move back to the city map. Sorry. There you go. Now you can just select your token and roll.
I rolled it.
Okay. And Gilbert? Had a 7?
I don't need it. Got a 7.
Okay. It'll act in the surprise round with its spike, and it'll try and lance Gilbert. 17 hits. And it'll deal 11 points of damage.
Who did it? Who did?
And real quick, so you know the situation that you're in a 40 by 40 room. On the north portion, there's a staircase that goes up to a landing, and there are 2 doors on the north side. They appear to be pocket doors. Then there are 2 other doors in the room, one on the right side and one on the left side. Based on what you're observing, there's no way you can identify if there's a one that goes down to the basement, based off of what you're seeing. Your presumption it is not the northernmost doors, because they're pocket doors. Alright. 87 on 10, go ahead.
Alright. I will draw my shield and spear and get ready to fight.
It's an
'Cause I don't
action
think
to ready to shield. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Gilbert, very quickly noticing the sword that you drew was Judgment. You do recognize, you think the sword was being wielded by one of the 2 Saers
I drew-
before. Go ahead.
Sorry, javelin. I meant javelin, not spear.
Oh, you
I'm
said
not.
spear. Oh.
Yeah, I'm keeping that under wraps. I don't know what I'm fighting.
Okay. Gotcha.
More fun though. More fun.
Shielded and javelin. Alright. Gilbert, it's your up.
This is Sparta, baby.
Looks like Blades doesn't use a sword or a knife. Very strange. But you're up. What would you like to do? Again, you're in a 40 by 40 room, 4 exits, and also a staircase up to a more northern portion.
Okay. Is it my turn?
You, Gilbert, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I can only hear part of what you're saying because it's cutting off every few words.
Is it for everybody?
No, actually, I'm having trouble hearing you, Kevin.
Maybe it's my end. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you all the
I
time.
don't know. Like I said, I'm having trouble
Cut out.
hearing you at the up until where
Okay.
it started cutting in and out. So maybe it's my headset. I don't know.
Sure. What would you like to do?
I guess I will. So it's I have to. Well, actually, it has to roll, and it would be a DC 13 save.
Sacred Flame?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dex save.
The creature fails. It strikes it, and when it does so, you notice that it seems to be something a bit more powerful than you anticipated. It seems to do more damage to this roiling creature. Its form starts to stop bubbling for a second on its shoulder, and the spike kind of leans low for a second as it's struck. You can see that the frame of it was a Goliath, but it looks like something underneath the black clothes that he was wearing, the dark set clothes he was wearing. There's something that's been done to it, and it looks very disgusting. It goes to its initiative again. It will strike out at... I still got Gilbert here. It's going to strike out at him. Do you have any reactions or anything, Tim? Or are you not protection?
I am not protection.
Sure. Let's see.
I wish I was.
You took... how much damage last turn? It was 12, right? On Gilbert? Or did I strike?
Did he hit me?
Yeah,
Okay,
I hit you.
I missed it. Did he?
I did hit you to start with. Yep, for 12.
Okay, I thought I couldn't tell if you hit me or Tim, so I thought you hit him for 12. But,
No.
All right. Not good. All right, I'll take 12 off. So
13.
I'm down 5 hit
13 misses.
points.
So lucky ducky on that one. Alright. 87. It seems to be hotly focused on the gnome.
Alright, I am going to do my best to make it want to hit me instead. I am going to stabby
Okay.
With a javelin. 14.
Yeah.
Alright, and 12 damage.
It's you pierce into its flesh, and it kind of like goes through. It doesn't just seem to be as effective as you were hoping with this piercing weapon.
Okay. Now, quick question about my oh darn, that's piercing too. Got it. All right.
Actually, sorry, scratch. I read wrong. Piercing's fine. It does normal damage.
Okay, cool.
I don't care about bludgeoning. Right. Okay. Cool. It'll go to Gilbert.
All right. It's not right up on top of me now, is
It
it?
is still adjacent to everyone now.
Son of a bitch. All right. Well, I think what I am going to have to do is, I guess as a bonus action, I'll cast Healing Word. Can I do that when it's next to me, or will it get an attack on me?
You're fine.
All right, I'll do that as a bonus action.
Okay.
Cast Healing Word.
6 hit points back
So
on yourself.
That helps.
Nice.
That's better than nothing. As my actual action, hit the thing with my
Pick.
my what do they call it? A war pick, because it's been acting
Yeah.
funny lately.
Well, when you
so-
pull it out, you actually kind of look at it and are confused. Its eyes are glowing.
Ooh, that must be good.
Yeah.
Glowing means good.
You're not sure what that
And,
means,
uh,
but
you
you,
know.
you strike it with a pick. Make an attack.
I'm gonna guess it means good. All right, Crane Beak. Let's do this. Yes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
First attack is a 21. Almost. It was a 19.
Click it for damage.
on the die. Oh, we got what? Click it
Click
there.
the name.
Oh, bummer.
Okay.
I only rolled 3.
Blades watches as this crane-headed pickaxe slams into the butler, and as it
Do you not have a modifier, like a weapon modifier?
He has 10 strength.
Yeah, I'm strong.
as
It's all good.
as he hits it and extracts the pick, you notice something very strange about it. Not only is it glowing, the eyes are glowing, but you notice that the pick itself just buried itself in this pulsing cystic flesh mass, but it appears to still be immaculate. Like, it's clean. Everything about Gilbert or Gilligan rather, now has kind of blood and grossness on him as it like extracts and pulls away, but the pick doesn't appear to be bloodied or sullied at all. It goes to
Nice.
it, and it identifies the larger of the two threats, kind of turns its attention, and stabs at you with its weird thorn spike. 21.
It's mess.
21 hits
Yes, it does.
for 13 points of damage.
Oh, damn, that's a lot.
Ouch.
You're hurting bad now.
A little bit.
And it then steps away from both of you. The two of you can now make opportunity attacks if you'd like.
Woohoo! Let's do this.
That'll
Oh,
work.
I rolled even better. I rolled a nat 20 on that attack.
Nice.
And
I
you
rolled a 21.
Sweet.
Click it for damage.
Hopefully kill this thing.
Okay. So
Yeah, I'm going to.
15 and 7 is 22. Okay.
Holy shit! Look at that.
It
That's almost max damage.
it feels the two spikes kind of enter into its back and kind of slumps as far as it can forward. It seems to be reaching for the door and touches it, and then you kind of pull at it with the pick, and it kind of slumps onto the ground, dead.
Nice.
Sweet.
Alright.
Wow.
Quick things before you
Was
guys
that
decide.
undead?
Quick. Yeah. So you're gonna make an intelligence religion check, and then do you have any questions that are pressing about the creature itself, Tim?
Right.
Uh,
I wanted to know if it was undead.
does I mean, with some of the stuff, does it all make me think like some weird attempt at is it Undaunted?
So
D-
yeah, you're not thinking that because it appears to be mostly flesh. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What you're recognizing immediately, Kevin, is the creature is undead, but it appears to have construct pieces in it, like the blade arm. It just seems that necrotic energy. It seems to be a necrotic energy infused thing. And it's-
Okay, I would explain that to Tim.
It's
too.
dead now.
Or Blades, sorry.
Cut the
Yeah.
scene. So, oh no, he's walking away. If you got to get up and do something, Andy, go and do it.
No, I'm good.
Okay. The scene changes to you guys. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Andy. What would you like to do immediately after the defeat of the creature?
So I would want to go back to where the ramp is and see if there's any way to climb up.
Okay.
Whether I could use my high tension cable or something like that.
No, tension cable doesn't look like it's going to go far enough, and then you can try to climb up it by making an strength athletics check.
Okay. I rolled a 19.
You rolled a 19. Yeah, you're able to make it up to the top, to the door,
Great.
but you know
So
you
I'm gonna-
just barely did.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Great.
hold on to the
Can-
door. Can I take a rope and tie it around the door and then
Nope.
let the rope down the ramp?
There's no door
I can't do
handle
that.
on this side.
There's no door handle. So what do I see?
You see a flat door that looks like it is reinforced wood with iron fittings. There doesn't appear to be anything loose on it at all, and it does look like there is no door handle and no lock, no nothing. Completely sheer.
Is there any surface on which I can tie a rope, like on the wood itself of the ramp?
No, the ramp's not made out of wood. It's made out of stone.
Is there a seam around the door frame?
Nope,
So we can't even like wedge a crowbar in there?
nothing.
Fuck yeah.
So what am I? So I'm sort of holding on. Just is it precarious or am I in good shape?
So you're in a pretty precarious position. Basically, when the flat or the landing and the stairs become ramp, they're just like, toosh. It's like kind of like a slide at a kid's park. You know how it starts with like a slow descent and then it goes into the wall. That's how it kind of looks.
Okay. Am I able to like kick at the door while I'm up there?
Sure.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I'm not looking to damage the door. I'm looking to make noise.
You don't hear anything on the other side. You just keep kicking. Doesn't sound like you're hearing anything.
Okay.
How
Then
long,
I'm
how
just
long do
gonna
you
sort
kick? How long do you kick?
of, as long as I'm able to hold myself up there.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you could hold yourself up there indefinitely, like if you stay in this kind of position and are just kicking at the door.
So while they're trying to figure out what they're doing, I'm just gonna kick the door.
Okay. All right.
Persistence. I like it.
Yenlorin, what are you doing?
So it looks like there's a bunch of stuffs on these tables, maybe?
Yeah.
Is it reading stuffs? Is it
No.
looking stuffs?
You go around and you start looking. It looks like old dishware, china, cookware, and the like. There are a bunch of boxes, and all of them look like they were purchased at different times. But as you go over to them and start inspecting them, you start to realize a very macabre reality that each of these boxes has the clothing of peasants, city watchmen, adventurers. Nothing pricey. Nothing expensive was left, but common clothes, traveler's clothes, all just kind of neatly folded and placed inside of these boxes. Based on what you're seeing here, your presumption is that whatever this creature was, it's been down here for a while, and she's been feeding it.
Fair enough.
All right, and Matt, of course, what would you like to do?
So I am going to search around the bottom of the slide case to see if maybe there's some sort of lever or release that might put it back to stairs and or possibly open the top.
Yeah, you kind of start looking around, and you spend a good 10 minutes listening to the banging of the door up above, just really annoyed, really. Then kind of just offhandedly notice that near one of the shelves just on the other side, there does appear to be a very small, narrow spot where one of the bricks of the wall is kind of off-colored. You kind of walk over to it and realize that it has like a handhold, and kind of see that it's something that could be pulled.
I would pull that.
Okay. The second you do, the stairs revert back into their position, and Renn, from your spot up above, you notice that the way that they set, they kind of flip upside down, so that they reveal the opposite side than what you slipped down.
Okay.
Basically setting it to a normal walking pattern, because you notice the steps before when they dropped, were immediately covered with something slick as well, which is why it was hard to climb up them.
Okay, so I'm able to climb up the steps now.
You can
to the
walk
door,
up and down the steps, yeah, but the door's still
Yep.
closed and shut and locked.
and I bang the door.
Okay.
It's like making progress.
So that goes on for a while, I presume.
Yep.
Also the searching, and a fight happens upstairs, and you guys can hear the clangor of combat. And after the combat concludes, Yenlorin, I'm sorry, not Yenlorin, Gilbert and Valette, the door to the right of you appears to be making a lot of noise. But also, just as the fight concludes, you hear from the two doors on the north side of the house, across from you, you start to hear what sounds like ballroom music start to play up behind those two doors.
The woman's still in the house.
So I hear a banging to the right, and I hear ballroom music to the north.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try. Wait, you're still injured, aren't you? Pretty badly.
Let's.
Do you need a healing? Is what I'm asking before we meet anything else.
I'm trying to do a second winding action, but
Oh.
it's not. I don't have it set up in a roll.
Well, I won't heal you then if you're gonna second wind. All right, I'm gonna say, hey Renn, is that you? Can you hear me on the?
Can I hear him?
door?
If I could hear him, I'll respond. Gilligan? Little buddy?
All right, that is Renn. That would only Renn would know that. All right, so then I go open the door.
Okay. The door appears locked on this side, and it looks like the key is required to unlock it.
Aha! Search the body.
Or
You give him nickname, you
you
person.
could attempt to try and unlock it yourself.
Too bad you're not a rogue.
I
do
don't
you
think
met-
I have that ability.
Do you mention it's locked?
Yeah, I'm gonna mention it's locked. I was gonna say look on the body for the key. Maybe it's on that thing we just killed.
I go and try and test my skill.
All right, I'll get out of his way.
What's your skill?
That's just straight thieves' tools, John.
Mm-hmm. Thieves' tools, dexterity. Sorry.
Okay. That's a 10.
Doesn't seem to be working.
Alright.
And then again, a note for those who are using thieves' tools, how I run them. So if you fail by more than 5, so 5 or more rather, you break one of your tools. There are a total of 10 tools that make a thieves' tool set worth using. So effectively, if you've ever played like Skyrim or any of the Bethesda games, think of those as lockpicks, and you're basically breaking them upon a failure. You have failed by more than 4, so 5 or more. So you will have lost a set. So you have 9 remaining.
Can I then, when I see that he fails, can I grab another one of his picks or a couple of them and try to do it myself?
Yeah, if you want to, sure.
I roll Dex, or do I roll? Oh, I can roll Dex.
Dex, Thieves' Tools. If you're proficient with Thieves' Tools, it's a Dex plus Thieves' Tools, yeah.
Oh, Dex plus Thieves. Or I'll just roll Dex, and then we'll add Thieves' Tools in there.
If you're proficient.
I happen to be, but they don't know that.
Okay.
They're like, look, it's not as hard as you think. Boom.
He's wow.
Wait. You tried to grab my thieves' tools?
Yeah, did you give them to me, or no? Were they not?
You never asked. You just grabbed.
Yeah,
I'm grabby. That's what nobles do, man. They just take crap.
I would not willingly just give them to you unless you asked.
Okay. Well then, yeah. I mean, I would be like, let me see those thieves' tools. I think I can do it. Would you give them to me then?
Sure. Go ahead and I guess you could try it out.
He takes.
Like, I don't really have a lot of skill in this, but I've seen somebody do it before, so I think you go like this.
He takes your tools. He walks over to it and very deftly and nimbly cracks it open. The door opens. Renn, on the
see, it's not as hard as you think, and I give him back.
on the
He
other
doesn't smirk at all.
on the other side of the door, once it opens, you see Blades holding open a set of thieves' tools, and Gilligan putting the tool back in, kind of giving you like a confident kind of face, which I assume he had present. You're pretty sure that the gnome unlocked the door.
Beginner's luck, everybody. I don't really do that all the time.
I'll go and search the body anyway now, just to, be thorough.
Yeah, nothing. Nothing at all on it. No.
I'm imagining when Gilbert gets the door open, like he's gonna hold his arms out, like he's expecting Renn to come and hug him or something.
So, you guys...
She's calling me little buddy.
Gotcha.
So, you guys have any trouble we had to deal with this butler here?
Yeah, he tried to kill us.
So if you're talking to us, I would definitely.
Keep going.
Okay. I said I think that there's the lady that with the ill-fitting clothes. She's still here.
Okay. Anything down there?
We took care of it. It was an ugly thing. We'll tell you about it later. Let's keep going.
Is anybody really majorly hurt anymore of your group?
I'm not in the best of shape, if we're being honest with each other.
Okay, well, yeah, I want you to be honest, because if we're gonna try to fight things, we've got to be okay. All right. What I will
And Saer
do
is hurt too, right?
Kevin.
Who's
Kevin,
hurt the worst, though? Yeah.
Kevin, I would like to say,
Yeah.
Saer is ridiculously bloody right now, and she just looks like I will be fine.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. No, I can heal you, Saer. You're looking in real bad shape.
So, as you guys are kind of parting around and kind of grouping up, I assume weapons have been put away. However,
No, I still have mine now.
Asafune is glowing, and it seems that it's kind of glowing with more colors than present before. Not so bright that it's like lighting up the room or anything, but it has a faint glow to it. The eyes on Cranebeak are still glowing. You notice this, Gilbert. The Dream Shard is pulsing with colors, all filtered through that purple lens. There's a bit of light coming out of the scabbard of Katsujin. And last but not least, everyone is very clearly identifying the fact that there's this glowing radiance coming from behind Blades that seems to be emanating out of this weird thing on his back. This wrapped thing on his back. It's like a glowing golden radiance.
What's that on your back?
Is time you show them weapon I give you.
Alright. Yenny gave me this nice blade I got right here.
And
Yenlorin, make a deception check. You have advantage because you're being helped, and everyone else make insight checks.
Deception, charisma?
Yes, deception, charisma, wisdom, insight. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Everyone, I think insider.
That's unfortunate.
I rolled a 19.
I rolled a 17.
As he pulls out the sword, you realize that it is Judgment, the sword that was being used by Enforcer 87. They kind of come up with this tale, and Gilbert's kind of nodding his head, totally believes it. Yeah, that makes sense. Not really paying attention to the sword, because that night was a blur for him. But immediately, Saer and Renn both kind of look at blades. Renn, your immediate thought is, oh, you're pretty certain that you put the two dots together. There is no blades. There is only a Enforcer 87. And Saer, yeah, for sure. That said, the music becomes more bombastic from the northern portion of the house. It sounds like it's becoming less of a waltz and more of kind of like a, faster paced dance.
So Renn would say, "Careful, take your weapons out."
Shouldn't we?
Alright, let's.
I sheath Judgment and ready my javelin again.
I'm getting out the crane beak.
You're bummed, Tim.
Okay. As you guys are all kind of manifesting your weapons close to each other, you notice that like they're all kind of pulsing with this energy, and then they all kind of just stop glowing. Everybody on your character's weapon characteristic where it says this weapon is not magical, erase that part.
Ooh,
What?
How do we do that?
that's amazing. It's just an description, yeah.
It's a kind of magic. Alright, sweet.
Great, I have to do it twice.
Walls.
Oh boy, that's so terrible.
Okay. And then what do you do?
Then what do we do, guys?
I don't know, I'm still sitting at 4 hit points, though.
So,
Wait a minute, I healed you.
No, you
I healed
didn't.
you.
Yeah, you did.
Hold on a second.
Did you? Oh, I missed
You
that.
just didn't ask for it. You were playing hard to get.
Yeah, I did not
Me.
hear that you healed me. I missed that
I
somehow.
typed it. Yeah, it's up there. You got 7, and I healed Yenlorin got 6. So you got even
perfect.
more than Yenlorin because I like you more.
I think we should all advance, right? What do you think?
I'll go last. I volunteer to go last.
There's the
I-
door.
I'm very
I go first.
So the two doors are pocket doors, probably about 10 feet wide in actuality, with double pocket doors in each door. There's one on the left and there's one on the right.
Yeah, I
So
open up one, Tim can open up the other.
why don't you open them and just step aside, just in case there's anything that flies out.
Yeah, I open and immediately open with the door. If it opens in, I push in and roll to the side. If it opens out, I roll with the door, so it's acting as a
Perfectly fine.
barrier.
I assure you there will be nothing
Stand there.
darting. As you open up the doors, you see the following sight. You see a room filled with dancers, kind of engaging in a dance. But you very quickly realize the horror of the scene, in that these dancers appear to be completely stripped of their clothing and completely made out of the pieces of other people. Looks like they have been bound and sewn together, and there are portions on some of them that have rotted away and show a bit of the metal latticing and metal structure that has been set underneath to hold them in a human-like shape. They appear to be hanging from the ceiling, and as you kind of cast your eyes up quickly at the ceiling, you notice that there's mechanisms up above you, much like an automated marionette's device that seem to be kind of clockwork operating these dolls to dance in this pattern. Their eyes are all glowing in that very similar red-orange that you, 3 of you, saw in the woman below. But the other thing you notice is that the windows of this room, which look like they are fine enough windows, appear to all be stained in blood. Sitting at the hostess position in the house, next to an empty host's chair, is Lady Karlov, wearing the same dress that you met her in, and holding a goblet of wine. She looks to you angrily and says, "Did you kill my daughter?" And as she says that, the music stops, so you hear her perfectly. The dancing stops. Renn, you're able to notice that she shifted a device that's in the arm of her chair, and that appears to be what has stopped the music and the dancers.
Agent 87 is a little, thinking, we're going straight to dispatch here. I drop Javelin and I pull out Judgment and I'm ready to wreck crap.
Okay. Judgment seems to have a golden aura about it while you stand in the presence of all of them.
Renn would say, yeah, she went to pieces.
If you draw Ketsugen as well, it seems to have a red aura about it. As you become
It does not
hostile.
have to be
By our
this way.
powers combined, we form Captain Planet.
John,
Huh?
Saer said,
Hold
it does
on.
not have to be this way. You can give up and turn yourself in. It might go better for you than if you face us.
You see her move her hand again on the arm, and all of the cables for the marionettes drop. And all of the marionettes drop. She looks at you, and she says, "You can surrender, and I'll let you live without the pieces that I want to keep." That's a fair deal, don't you think? And as she's saying that, you also notice that her chin seems to be kind of moving forward in a very unnatural way.
You can live, and perhaps you can find peace with what you have done.
I will do it again. And she keeps on saying that, and you can see that her front teeth are starting to grow longer.
Like a rat.
John, I overcharge Dexter.
You overcharge dexterity now? Okay.
What does that mean?
Don't worry about it. It's his device.
Okay. I thought it was a
John,
special ability that I'm missing.
Go ahead, Matt.
I would like to use my boots.
Okay. Click, click. Okay. And as you guys are keying up and getting ready for combat, 2 things happen that you notice very, very suddenly. The dress about her starts to rip off of her as her form underneath bulges even more fat and gross and corpulent. And you can see that her face also changes. The creature that comes out of the dress is this just filthy rat creature that's kind of just leaning forward out of the chair at you with its feral rat face. And you also notice that all of the dolls start to get back up. Roll initiative. We're going to do it on... I don't have a battle map for this.
Okay.
Hold on. I genuinely didn't think you guys were going to get this far.
Can you just put our tokens up?
Yeah, hold on.
I already clicked the button. I should have waited. I'm sorry.
I mean, you know, you rolled a 6.
I know, it's not good. I'm happy to roll again.
Yeah.
I'd get to. Ha ha ha.
There are
Whoops.
guys. We're on there now. Alright, let's see if I can find mine.
Alright, I think John did damage to me. Covered.
I
Yes.
got really lucky with my initiative. This time,
Did
I don't
somebody-
think I will.
Did you throw up the initiative
Oh my
tracker
gosh, I
already?
rolled out the same number.
Horrible. I got cleric speed going there.
to just let you know what the situation is, you're in about a 50-foot long, from doors that you enter to back, room that's about 70 feet wide. There are about 20 of these creatures on the dance floor that are in between you and her. Circumnavigating will take you basically, I'd say about 80 feet of movement to get to her if you want to circumnavigate the creatures in the center of the room. That or you can plow your way through. Okay. Yeah.
Should have overcharged Constitution.
Just use that token for her, I guess.
Oh.
Again, I totally didn't think you guys were going to make it this far.
John, my initiative should be 15.
Okay.
I'm sorry, next time we'll talk more.
No, yeah, it's okay. It wasn't that. I wasn't expecting you guys to split up.
Yeah, nobody expects that.
Yeah.
You keep putting me in your games and then expecting me to stick together with the whole group. I don't fucking know what you want from me, man. Like, I've set up a pattern of behaviors you should be able to track.
Yeah, but what is Matt, I heard your Spanish Inquisition reference, and it was good. But yeah, you're coming in really quiet today. I don't know what that's about.
I told you at the beginning that I'm feeling sick and it's been a long week.
Oh no! I think that it's not that. It's just the mic. I don't think it's you physically.
Yeah, I repositioned it today because of where I was sticking the camera.
Gotcha. You said 17 or 15? What was
15.
It? Okay.
Oh look, it looks like a cute little bear,
Renn,
but it's a rat.
you're first.
Oh, my 6 isn't on there. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You're good. Renn, you're up first.
Yep. So I guess what I really want to do is I want to get to the chair where the lady is controlling stuff. So you said circumnavigating is about 80 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
That's right.
So I'm going to take the dash action. I could dash, right?
Yeah.
And so that's
70.
70, and then I could bonus action dash.
Yep. You can get right up to her.
I don't know if I want to get right up to her though, because then she's gonna mess me up. I'm gonna actually go to 70, and then I'm gonna take the bonus action. Crap.
You're gonna bonus action dash, then you can use your action to dodge.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Perfect.
Yeah. I know what you're trying to do in your head.
Yeah.
I can sense it.
Thanks.
Saer.
To go straight through the puppets to get at her would be how much feet of movement?
Only 50. You'd take probably at most 6 opportunity attacks from the creatures.
No, I wouldn't, John. I'm using my boots.
That's right.
Ooh, boots of awesomeness.
So I would like to dash through. Also, I would like to use my special second ability of the boots to give myself advantage and move an extra. Or no, wait a second. That's only if I hit or miss on the attack. Never mind. I'm just going to start charging. Oh, it's 50 feet through. So yeah. Dang it. I misread this. If it's hit or miss, your walking speed increases by 30 feet. So I'd have to dash through there. Screw it. I'm going to dash through and run straight up to the Rat Queen.
Okay. And you still have an action, I believe, right?
Well, wouldn't I need to use my action to dash?
Right. That's right. It just says you don't take opportunity attacks, I remember.
Right, I don't take opportunity attack. If I if I use my the second special ability, I gain an extra 30 whether I hit or miss if I can use the attack action.
Right. So yeah, you get up to her. You can see that the chair, all of the switches are pushed away from the back of the throne, and she's kind of standing, or she's kind of still sitting in her chair, but it does feel like she's getting up. And you have nothing else, right?
Let me see if I have anything else, but I don't.
Okay. She gets up, and she's going to go ahead and she seems to be brandishing a small dagger in her rat hand, and she'll stab at you. She misses. It's only a 13. And then she will bite at you. 17 hits. You're going to take 3 points of piercing damage, and I need a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh no.
Now you're gonna be a rat, Matt.
Rat boy.
Okay. You feel her bite into you, and you don't know for sure whether or not that's a good thing or not. You take 3 points of damage, like I mentioned, total, and
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is 87.
All right. So you said to go around all the mannequins, it's about 80 feet.
80 feet to go all the way around. Yeah.
All right. I'm
Or
gonna
if
run.
you go straight through, you're going to take at least the least amount of opportunity attacks would be 6.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go around. I'll dash around, so I'll get within 20 feet, I guess.
Okay, 20 feet out. All right. Gilbert.
All right. Well, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Would I know these things are like constructs where she's taken and putting body parts onto,
Mhm.
whatever, structure. Does that mean it's an undead, or does that mean it's a construct? It's not like if undead things aren't going to be affected by,
So the
are
one-
these constructs.
The ones
Go
that
ahead.
you've seen appear to be powered with necrotic energy, so they are more or less undead. These ones appear to have that
So-
same characteristic. There are a total of 20 of
Like
them,
if-
and
Okay, so if I use my turn undead, I'm thinking that would.
they would all pretty much be within like 30 or so feet from you. So yeah, if you want to use your turn undead, let's click it and see how it works.
Hell yeah, man! Let's do this. Oh wait, I thought I clicked it, but I guess it didn't work. Wait, isn't this a clickable thing? Because it's a channel divinity,
Yeah, it should be. There should be a little
Oh,
speech
maybe
bubble
it's
next. Speech
Oh,
bubble.
There you go.
next to it.
Oh, that's the wrong one. That's some other really good designer I know. One step
Yeah.
together.
He's so
But
awesome.
I can't use that one because I'm gonna use this one. Turn undead.
30 feet wisdom saving throw.
And my saving throw is 13,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
it's not the best, but
Okay.
it's a level
All right.
appropriate.
Let's see what we got here. I'm going to say, based on what I've stated so far, I'm going to say that about 14 of the 20 are within 30 feet of you. Basically, you're missing the outer edge ones that are closest to the back end, but you're still hitting the ones that are in the median. 14 saving throws. Here we go.
Holy crap!
Um,
Yeah, that might. Yeah. Good.
Whoa.
Fail, 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 fail,
Wait,
fail.
these guys are bad.
Success.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank
go
God.
on.
Natural 20 on that one, so that's 2. Now we got the last 4. Fail, 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 success. So 3 out of 14 succeed. I'm going to go ahead and say that one of those is close to you, one of those is on the opposite end near her, and then the other one is just off to the right. But the rest of them basically will. The turn creature must spend its turn. Okay, so it hasn't taken its turn yet.
Then I go, now who's the puppet master?
Oh,
Nice.
gosh.
Famous last words. I'm telling you. Now these the couple that can are gonna come and kill me.
Yenlorin, you're up. It does look like the majority of the ones in the middle block are about to just disperse. Right now, you don't have a perfect clear line to her.
That's fine. You said one of the close ones isn't turning, though, right?
Yep.
Great. We'll light that. Ah, I missed. There's no way a 9 hits.
9 does hit.
Oh, does it?
What?
Fuck yeah!
Auto torched it.
Fuck yeah, that's 5 fire damage.
Okay, doesn't
So
seem
you
to
get and
kill
low
it.
dexterity. Wow.
Because you shot a zombie, right?
Yeah, I shot a zombie. I'm just hitting the zombie that he didn't turn that was closest to us.
Got it.
So it can't get to us. I got you, buddy.
Alright,
We
sweet.
work next to work.
Sorry, hold on a second.
I really
Everything
wanted to
broke. Hold on a
every-
second. On
Uh-oh.
the stream.
I really wanted to use the channel divinity
Yep.
step together, guys, because that one is an awesome ability. We could all just like move. Look at that. You don't get an opportunity tax or anything.
That is pretty awesome.
That is a kick butt ability. And if this hadn't been undead, I would have used that for sure, and we could have just surrounded that rat. But I couldn't turn undead thing like that.
And welcome to Paint Town.
Yeah.
Alright, stream's just gonna be messed up for a second here. Yeehaw. That said, Yenlorin, you shot that one with the fire. Okay. Next up.
Is it still up?
Yeah, it's still up. It's just that it's messed up. So on 1, the zombies will act. The one that's closest to her is going to move to kind of stand near her. The one that's closest to you guys will move to Yenlorin. It will be able to close the distance, and it will attempt to attack. And the one that is on the far side will move close to Blades and make an
Alright.
attack. 7 misses on Blades, and a 9 misses on Yenlorin. Cool.
What?
Alright, so Renn.
So I'm 10 feet away, and one of my allies is close to it. The witch, the rat lady.
Yep. That would be Saer.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move up beside Saer and attack with my sword.
Go for it.
I rolled an 18.
Oh, that'll hit.
It's adding the 2 for extra, which I'm not taking. So it's 6 plus sneak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 8 total.
Okay.
And I will disengage.
And back away into the
Draw.
now empty center room because all the zombies flooded to the corners.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Saer, you are adjacent to it.
As a quick question, to like touch my blade to someone else's, is that an action?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to look on to that for later. I'm going to use my excuse me, secondary ability and
Well-
use my unit.
Oh, real quick note: you are standing right next to Renn.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I realize that, Tim. I think I'll save that for later.
I know. You want to touch a different tip.
yeah.
Clearly,
Gosh.
all you guys do what you got to do.
I'm going to attack, and I'm going to use the advantage for
Okay.
this attack, which also adds a D8 of force damage.
Gotcha.
So that'll be an 18 to hit
She'll get hit.
with 6 slashing damage, and then I will do an additional 5 force damage.
She seems pretty well wounded. All right. She's going to turn her attention at you. And
Saer?
No, Saer. Sorry.
Okay.
She'll attack. The dagger will hit this time. It'll do 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay, I'm at 1 hit point currently.
Okay.
Oh.
And then she'll bite you.
Oh no! Wait, weren't you bit already?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's double bit.
17 to hit for
Yeah,
2.
that'll hit. So I'm unconscious.
Or, sorry, 4 points of damage. So yeah, unconscious, and another Constitution saving throw, please.
Yep.
Let's beat up on Saer Day today.
Which is a 10.
All right, she falls to the ground. 87, 20 feet away from the lady.
Yeah, I'll take the opportunity attack from the zombie. I'm just gonna run forward
Okay.
towards Rat Lady.
It's swing and a miss.
Cool. Run up and give her a nice little whack with my beat stick.
So as you kind of approach, you notice something strange. The gold aura about your blade starts to kind of become infused with a reddish color, almost like a red sunlight. As you stand close to Renn, you feel like there's something there. If you want to,
Yeah, let's find out what happens. I touch tips.
okay. Renn, do you want to expend your reaction?
Absolutely. Let's see what happens.
The second that happens, I need both of you to make an attack, please. Okay.
14.
Both will
Roll
hit.
13.
Okay. And so, okay. Do me a favor. Of course, roll. No, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Red Rush. Okay. So, Andy, roll sneak attack damage, even if you've already expended yours.
I have, but a great 4.
And Tim,
Mhm.
you can decide to either knock it prone or push it back 5 feet.
Prone.
Prone.
Okay. So it takes a total of 19 damage. Sorry, that kills it outright. How do you guys want to do it? Just so you understand, the technique you use is called Red Rush, and it allows both of you, when activated, to move up to your speed, make a single attack at the end, apply sneak attack damage even if it's already been utilized this turn, and a shove from Cool Kid.
Awesome. You go ahead and do it, Tim. You finish.
So, alright, I picture this as I run up and notice the gleaming and synchronization of the swords, and as we like cross blades, I come up and go for a head strike with a coordinated stab at the gut from Renn.
Nice. Basically impaling it twice as it's sickeningly pushed back into its chair. As it is thrown into the chair, you notice like the fur starts to peel off of its body, and her face becomes more like the woman before. You notice too that she's starting to kind of leak out these strange fluids as well, besides blood, and some of it looks more thick than blood, but she lays in her throne dead. The second she falls, you also notice that all of the puppets just drop in piles.
Good job, guys.
That was good.
Pretty awesome.
I leave the floor to you guys.
Someone heal the unconscious woman.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
sorry. Kirgozler, you're up.
Go, Cleric, go.
Guess what I don't have anymore?
No!
You must be
yeah.
trained in
I-
medicine.
Well, you would think, but medicine is not my specialty. But
God
you
damn
know
it.
what I don't have? I don't have Spare the Dying, because everybody says that's a shitty cantrip until you need it at a time like this. But so yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna say I think we need to bandage this guy up. Does anybody know how to do that? I'm gonna kind of act kind of like I don't
first
usually
of all,
bandage people.
I'm a woman, not a guy.
I meant guy in a gender nondescript sort of way. I mean,
You
I call
can't
it
do a
guy.
medicine check?
I mean, I'm
He's
not trained in medicine. Check. I am
Cleric,
not a
not
medicine
trained
dude.
in...
I'm a cleric of travel, and I'm a gnome. I mean, doesn't that just explain itself right there?
Sure. No. No.
So, anyways, yeah, you seem like doing a crappy job. Like, you guys all know how to do it better than I do. So, I don't know if you want to come over and help me.
So, yeah, since you spend your turn kind of confused and not sure what you want to do,
Yeah.
your turn's forfeited. Yenlorin, you're up.
I try and help the pretty lady.
Make a medicine check.
Medicine wisdom.
Medicine
Oh gosh,
wisdom.
Zach's helping me. I'm doomed.
There's a 16, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Start to staunch the bleeding.
No, I'm just remembering your medicine check from last campaign.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
not.
different
I don't
campaign, let it
have
go.
the best track record when it comes to medicine checks. All right, I accept that.
You begin to staunch the bleeding, but you notice that the bite mark around her neck and shoulder appears to have kind of this strange darkening color around the skin layer. Almost as if there's some kind of ichor that's been left behind by the bite. And you're not sure exactly what it is. At that, and also because of the issues I'm having right now with the video, I'm going to go ahead and say that's the end of the session. Call it there.
Cool.
Thanks for watching. Sorry about the system issues. Sorry I didn't get a chance to change the title at the bottom there. It should be showing the session title from last one. Apologies. We'll get it right next time. Thanks for watching. If you did, probably didn't. That's fine. Stop in the stream. Nah.